It's not like there's a long list of players you can say, well, this guy's playing really well. There's a few. Zach Hyman, currently tied for the league and even at 5-on-5 points with 5. He's been fine. I think Warren Fogel's played pretty well. I think Dylan Holloway's played pretty well. Ryan McLeod's been okay. Nugent Hopkins, I'd probably put him on the plus side of 50. After that, not a lot. Not a lot. They got a lot more guys who got to play better. So we'll see what they have tomorrow. Now, this is a conversation. We'll get to our Jiffy Lube inbox, 833-401-1440. Got a lot of texts coming in. 833-401-1440. And some line juggling again today by the head coach. Zach Hyman with Draisaitl McDavid. Nugent Hopkins, Fogel, and Janmark. We'll get to that in a sec. Kane with McLeod and Brown. And then Holloway with Ernie and Ryan. Now, on the surface, I'm a bit perplexed how Dylan Holloway, who I think has been one of the more consistent forwards, in essence got a demotion here to the fourth line. Now, I guess they wanted to play center. Maybe they think that his speed will ignite that other line. The Oilers' bottom 6 doesn't have a goal at 5-on-5, and it's not like the top 6 has a lot either, so I just want to point that out. They have a grand total of 6 goals through 4 games, 5-on-5. Not good. So, if there was one guy I would have put in the top 6, it would have been Dylan Holloway. That's the one guy. If I'm thinking for some jump, he's had some jump. Now, I have to think they're going to try Nugent Hopkins, Janmark, and Fogel as kind of like their defensive line. That's what I'm guessing. It's kind of the only thing that makes sense. But obviously the coach is seeing something different in Janmark than I'm seeing. Like, I get that Janmark's responsible and doesn't make very many mistakes with the puck, but he doesn't make a lot of plays with the puck either. Right? So, sure, he can make good reads, but not creating a lot. So, I don't know. I guess if you're going to have him, Nugent Hopkins, and Fogel and say, you know what, guys, we just want you to not get scored on, go out there, play good defensively. We'll see who they play against. Maybe that's the reasoning. I'm trying to think of something. If you can think of something else, let me know. 833-401-1440. And honestly, I'm not sure it matters for the most part what the lines are if the Oilers are going to play with the same energy, execution, intensity, desire that they had in Philly. Not happening. Like, you've kind of laid an egg now twice out of 4 games. Like, game 2, they lost. I didn't think they played poorly. That'll happen sometimes. But that game last night, like, I could not believe the third period. You're down 3-1, which isn't a massive, like, there's lots of 2-goal comebacks in the NHL nowadays. You're down 3-1, and you muster 4 shots on goal in the third period. And you get absolutely hammered by the Flyers in the third period. They completely controlled that period. They look like a team that said, guess what? We're not sitting back. We're attacking with the lead. And they did. It was ugly. Ugly. Hey, guys, that third goal was the killer. Any minor momentum was instantly squashed from Muzz. Yep. Was not great, Muzz. I would agree wholeheartedly. So, hey, guys, what's the over-under on auction in the brain after 5 straight minutes of ice time? What is Woodcroft? There were 5 times watching the game where I said Draisaitl McDavid better not still be on the ice, and yet they were. I bet Chriselle could confirm this is a horrible idea from the burglar. Well, any extended shifts, yes. And here's the thing. I have no problem with the coach saying, you know what, we need to be better, 100%. Don't sugarcoat it. He's obviously frustrated. But there are things I believe the coach can do. That third line was going last night. I'm not saying bench your top 2 lines. Just give your third line a little bit more reward, right? Give them a little bit more reward. Like, sure, they're not scoring, but they're playing well. At least they're generating something. So, Last night was a tough night for Evan Bouchard. I thought it was a tough night for some of the older skill players. But Evan Bouchard, that's a real tough night. No question. So, Nurse and Cece were easily the Oilers' best pairing last night on the blue line. It really wasn't close. So, hey, guys, what about one strong center, one strong winger? McDavid and Hyman, Draisaitl and Kane, Nugent Hopkins and Fogle. Mix it in for Mark. Maybe. I think there's a little bit of a message here to Vander Kane, like, hey, chop, chop, let's get going. And so that's what you got to do sometimes as a coach. I have no problem with that. In fact, I would encourage it. Sometimes the only way to get the players' attention, you can't just keep rolling out the same top six all the time. You can't do it because they're not playing well enough. It's not like they were generating chances and just not scoring. They got outworked, top to bottom, outworked. Hey, Gregor, are you concerned with Kane? Looks disinterested from DK. Well, I wouldn't be concerned. I will say, DK, I think it's fair to say that Evander Kane has left you wanting more in virtually every game he's played this year. Like, if it's not working for you offensively, and that's going to happen at some points of the year. Like, if Evander Kane went 4 games and he had 1 assist at some point in the year, it wouldn't be that huge of a story because it happens. He's not a point-a-game player. All right, he could have 5 points in the previous 4 and then go whatever. But have you really noticed Kane? Has he bullied anybody? Has he hit anybody? Has he yapped at anybody? Like, there's other ways to show you're engaged. And I don't feel like they were at all. At all. Hey, Gregor, let's give the Flyers credit. I don't think the Oilers are as bad as you're saying. They were in all the lanes. Chris and Victoria. Chris, I strongly, strongly disagree. Did you watch the third period, Chris? What are you talking about? Just look at the third period alone, my man. Don't try to sugarcoat this and be like, oh, Flyers are great. The Edmonton Oilers played like garbage compared to their skill level last night. Okay? It's just, I'm sorry, it's not. They got outshot 12-3. And it wasn't because they had all these, massive shot attempts. Not it at all. Like, the Flyers, did they play well? Sure. Are they that better than the Edmonton Oilers to limit them to that, what we saw specifically in the third period? No chance. I'm sorry, man. I am not agreeing with you on that one. Not at all. Hey, Greg's, has Bouchard ever won a puck battle without using his skill? Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I actually thought Evan Bouchard in the postseason last year was maybe the most competitive I've seen. I was like, here you go. This is a young guy getting more confident. Here we go. I saw him engage. I saw him sticking some guys. He's not going to be Nurse. He's not going to be Ekholm, right? He's not going to be like throttling guys. But I actually thought his battle level was pretty good in the postseason. Maybe the best I'd ever seen. So yeah, he's had a rough start. And I don't expect guys to play the exact same way in the playoffs that they're going in the regular season. So I want to make that abundantly clear. There's very few guys. You can't do it. Right? You can't do it. But like last night, like the game in Vancouver, that was just a weak battle he lost. But last night, like the mishandling the puck, like to me, if there's one thing in Bouchard's game that I'm normally whatever he's doing when he has the puck on his stick, normally it's not a grenade. Right? So that to me was the surprising part. And the other thing for the Oilers is like, they got more sandpaper than they're showing. Right? In today's NHL, the Oilers are a tough team top to bottom compared to a lot of other teams. You got Desharnais, you got Kane, you got Nurse, if they want to show it. But then, Nugent Hopkins, we've seen Nugent Hopkins can play gritty. Draisaitl can play annoying. Ekholm's big and strong. But man, like there has been a whole lot of nothing. When it comes, like, is there a scrum? Like, you know what? Honestly, you'd have to put a mirror under the nose of some of the Oilers. Are they breathing right now? Are they awake in here? What's happening? So to me, they better show up soon because I'm not worried about the playoffs. I'm going to say that right now. I still believe the Oilers are a playoff team. It's 4 games. It's not great. But the Edmonton Oilers, they believe they're more than just a get in the playoff team. They want to go deep in the playoffs. And you know what's the best way to go deep in the playoffs, Connor Halley?
What's that?
Get home ice advantage for more than one round. You finish second in the division. Now you got one round and then you're on the road. And look what happened the last 2 years when the Oilers were on the road. They went 1-5. 1-4 in Vegas and Colorado. And right now, Vegas is already 8 points up in the Oilers. Now, the Oilers have a game in hand. So best case scenario, they're 6 back of Vegas. They're already 6 back of Colorado. It's early. But guess what? You don't want to be like they were last year. The slow start didn't cost the Oilers a playoff spot. The slow start cost them home ice advantage, which ultimately might cost them the Stanley Cup. Home ice matters for the top teams. It's proven. It's a fact. Vegas was very good at home last year. Colorado, very good the year before when they won. Yeah, you want to be decent on the road. But the Oilers, the last 2 years in the playoffs, 4-4, 3-3. And that's okay. You know what? You win half your games on the road, playoffs, decent. But if you're not the home team, makes it a little bit harder. And for me, that to me is the bigger concern with the early slump, is if it keeps going and all of a sudden you get to November 15th and you find yourself 12 points back, that is a lot of real estate to make up. Look at how well the Oilers played in the final 62 games of the season last year. And they still didn't catch Vegas. Right? When they go 9-1 down the stretch, they still didn't catch them. So you have to stay closer than they are right now. Got to start winning some games. You need to look in the mirror. No more BS excuses and play better. It's like line combinations, whatever. Coach is mixed in here too. You know what? Don't just mix up the lines. Send a message by stapling someone to the bench if they're not going. You had lots of opportunities to do it, and it can't just be Janmark, Ernie, and Ryan every time. Can't just be, oh, here's the guys. Let's go with them. Now, I'm not saying they're deserving way more ice time, but they're not the only ones who automatically should be shortened the way they're playing right now. Quick break coming up on the show today. We got a loaded lineup for you. We'll hear from Matt Chinetti. Also, Kevin Radomski will be by. Cam Tate, of course, feeling better. He's with us. Ben Gretz, Ted Wyman from Winnipeg, Wanye Gretz, Craig Button, Speck, Lowetide. It's a loaded show. There's going to be a lot of opinions. We got lots more texts flying in at 833-401-1440. Please explain Janmark in the second line today. Well, Ray Lapp, I can't do it. Honestly, that's a little head-scratching to me. The only answer I can think of is he thinks he's going to play Janmark, Nugent-Hopkins as Fogle as like a defensive-minded line. That's the only thing I can think of. Or it's just one of Jay Woodcroft. He likes to do this in practice, and then tomorrow the lineup you see will be different. He's done that before. I don't love that strategy. I'm just saying he's done it before. But I don't really have a great answer for you, unfortunately. We'll return on the Gregor Show on Sports 1440, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
No project too difficult. No problem too complex for Action Electrical. Edmonton's leading electrical contractor is a family-run business since 1973 and proud to offer complete commercial electrical services of the highest quality. When you need a contractor to design, build, implement, and maintain complex systems or emergency electrical assistance, help is here with the professionals. Book a service call at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
Established in 2001 right here in Edmonton, Corporate Business Solutions has grown to become the largest Konica Minolta digital office equipment dealer in Western Canada. Office technologies may have changed over the past 22 years, but Corporate Business Solutions continues to provide guaranteed same-day service to local businesses right here in Edmonton. Our customers' loyal support has allowed Corporate Business Solutions to provide the service they deserve. Call 780-490-5600 or visit cbsca.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club? Kick off your week with unbeatable savings. Enjoy half-price golf from Monday to Thursday. Elevate your game without emptying your wallet. Book your tee time today. CattailCrossing.ca.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
There's nothing like having a little skin in the game to make things interesting. But when a little skin becomes more than you can afford to lose, it's time to take a break from sports betting. Set a budget and stick to it. If you gamble, use your game sense.
The temperature's dropping, and so are the prices at Canadian Tire's biggest tire sale of the year. Save up to 25% on top brands like Motomaster, Bridgestone, and Michelin when you stop by Canadian Tire. Only from October 13th to November 2nd. Conditions apply. Details online.
At Toyota, we build quality trucks with you in mind because everyone loves a friend with a truck, especially a Toyota, winner of the Canadian Black Book Award for Best Residual Value. So when that inevitable ring-a-ding-ding for help comes, you're there, rolling up in an award-winning truck because you're an award-worthy friend. It's time to Toyota. Finance a 2023 Tacoma 4x4 Double Cab SR5 starting from $140 weekly for 84 months at 6.49% APR with $6,599 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers presents a massive 3-day unreserved heavy equipment auction at their Nisku site October 25th to 27th, 8 a.m. Live on-site and online. Construction, heavy equipment, trucks, trailers, nearly every industry covered. Register to bid. It's free in person or online. On-site viewing and registration starts October 21st. Timed auction starts October 22nd. Demand for equipment is strong. Contact your local territory manager to consign. More at rbauction.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Try their new one-topping garlic or spicy garlic epic stuffed crust for $21.99 for a limited time only at papajohns.ca.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
225 positive Friday. I know it's hard, Oilers fans. I know it's hard. But that's why we put in Positive Friday about 12 years ago. Because that was right in the middle of the decade of darkness. And man, we'd have the whole week and people would be just distraught. So we'd have a little fun on Positive Friday. So who knew that after 4 games you would need a Positive Friday? Because most people thought the Oilers would be minimum 2-2, probably 3-1. It's not like Vancouver, Nashville, Philadelphia are the juggernauts. None of them made the playoffs last year. And the Oilers are 1-3. Ouch. Let's get to the football report now, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay warm all winter or cool all summer. LegacyHeating.ca. And other big news today, and we're going to talk about that right now. We'll talk some CFL with Matthew Shinetti from CFL and TSN Soccer. But I want to start with, of course, the most prolific scorer in Canadian soccer history, Christine Sinclair. Obviously, the most goals in women's soccer globally. And she announced that she will be retiring. Matthew, you knew eventually this was coming. We've seen her minutes diminish with the national team here in their previous games. And, we've seen her reaction, Portland and stuff. Like, obviously she's ready for this. But can you kind of put into words what she's meant to the program? And do they have anyone who's going to be able to replace her?
I think, Jason, there's no better example than the city you're in back 22 23 years ago when 45,000 people came out to Commonwealth Stadium to watch. And then 19, 20-year-old Christine Sinclair beat Brazil on penalty U20 World Cup. Unfortunately, they lost the United States in that tournament, but the flicker that started what would ultimately become the most significant career in Canadian soccer history. As the person who scored the most in international history, it is not an instant career, because although we might tie World Cup wins to the ultimate legacy, Christine Sinclair didn't win one, and I think it's time to get that out of the way. First off, because the goals that she scored, the value that she had for a country that had never had any kind of soccer star at her level, and then to achieve 3 straight Olympic medals, culminating in a win over Sweden on penalties at Tokyo 2020, is the crowning achievement of one of the most important careers, not only in women's football, but in international football. And I say that because before Christine Sinclair, there was nobody. There was no one like her. And now, to answer your question, is there anyone there to replace her? I don't think anyone will be a Christine Sinclair, because she was just a singular force. And it is because of her, with all due respect to the 1986 men who went to the World Cup and the likes of Jim Bredin, Jason DeVos, Craig Forrest, the many Canadian men who played in the English Premier League. Canadian soccer finally had its own international star in Christine Sinclair.
Yeah, it's true. She was a huge star, but how come globally it almost seems like she got overlooked, right? Like she never won Play of the Year, never won the women's Golden Boot or anything. How, and despite scoring that many goals, why?
I think it's a handful of reasons. Chief among them, one, Canada's, even with all of her achievements, as much as she's gone ahead and given some notoriety to Canadian international soccer, it is a wild, bigger universe than anyone sometimes imagines, having been to the World Cup. I can tell you, you don't believe it until you see it. And because soccer is the global sport, and nations are always jockeying for positions of importance, and in women's football, really, I think up until the last 8 years, but certainly 4 years ago, when the number of titles the Americans won in the World Cup, and certainly it's changing now after the World Cup we just watched with Spain winning it, notwithstanding all the things that happened to Spain afterwards. But this was a sport that, the U.S. won and the U.S. dominated. So the likes of an Alex Morgan, an Abby Wambach, even though Christine Sinclair ultimately surpassed Abby Wambach, Carly Lloyd, Hope Solo, all of those names were put up in front because the Americans were seen as the dominant team. But I believe this is true as Christine Sinclair's legacy grows over time. And as you see more and more players, especially in this country, Janine Becky certainly posted something today about the value of Christine Sinclair's career on her own career. I think that's going to build and build and build. And especially with Christine Sinclair's involvement in Project 8, the Women's Professional Soccer League, alongside her longtime teammate and friend Diana Matheson. I think the total of Christine Sinclair's influence on this sport, not only here in Canada but internationally, will even grow in her retirement.
Matt Shinnetti joins us. So Christine Sinclair. Now she will play a few more games. I'm guessing she will have the send off that she deserves, and maybe ignites her teammates to go out and play even better potentially.
I think ultimately this is it's a tune-up for Paris. Canada obviously qualified in Toronto with that win against Jamaica in the Olympic qualifier. And Christine Sinclair, I was there, got a rousing send-off, and it certainly did something to embolden her team in those final minutes. I think in the last couple of years, as Christine Sinclair approached 40, she wasn't the goal-scoring behemoth that she had been for so long and like an unstoppable force in front of net. What she became is someone who could play a great pass, who just had a presence that lifted all her teammates. Certainly, there's it's not only her presence and the effect on her teammates. They'll be playing in Halifax, and they sold out in Halifax in 20 minutes. Although albeit the Halifax Wanderers Stadium only seats about 6,500 people. At this point, though, she in these last few games will be a symbol of celebration for the country because, as I said before her, there really was very, very little to celebrate in Canadian soccer in its totality. in her career, as she went through so many incredible moments, of course, in the Olympics against the Americans, at the last Olympics as well, and helping lead Canada to a fourth place finish about 18 years ago. She's had so many moments in her career where you can just tie, the success of Canadian soccer and what it's meant. And now, as she approaches the end, I think even though, yes, her teammates will want to use these games as continued preparation for the upcoming Olympics next summer, it'll all be about celebrating Christine Sinclair.
Matt, let's switch over to the CFL. Matthew Shinetti joins us. And this is the last game of the season for the Elks. Also the last game of the season for BC and Saskatchewan. It's kind of odd that a third of your league, is going to basically get a bye week in the final week of the season. I do find that a little head-scratching. I think it's smart to have the team that many projected to be a non-playoff team have a bye week the final week, which was the green and gold when the season began. And unfortunately for them, they've lived up to it. They face off Winnipeg, and obviously the Bombers have something to play for here. They're battling BC for home field advantage and getting the first round bye. The Elks have been better because, of course, it was impossible to be worse than 0-9, right? They're 4-4 since. But how would you evaluate Chris Jones? And when I look at the Elks, their offseason, I think the biggest question is going to be, can Chris Jones adequately do all three jobs?
I think you've hit the nail on the head, and I also would want to include whether or not they're going to go ahead and actually put all of their chips in the Trey Ford basket and really tie the success of the franchise to them. Chris Jones is a very proud man. He has coached on both sides of the border. He has won multiple Grey Cups. He was an outstanding defensive coordinator for the Calgary Stampeders, for the Montreal Alouettes, and for the Toronto Argonauts, to say nothing of the success he originally had with the Edmonton football team in 2015, which he parlayed into a big job with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The fact of the matter is, it has nonetheless been very, very, very disappointing. Now, certainly the Elks have a lot of financial issues given how many coaches and front office people they've paid out over the last number of years, and there's certainly been talk about the operations budget and how that might hamstring the Eskimos and what they want to do in terms of updating or changing staff in the front office and on the coaching staff. But the fact of the matter is this: Chris Jones has to be judged on his record. He is certainly, when I've spoken to him and when he's been out in the media, done his best to go ahead and show someone who is confident, notwithstanding clearly the struggles his team has had this season. But he should be, as everyone on his staff should be, scrutinized because clearly they have a talent here. And that last point is Trey Ford. And if you're going to believe in the young man, then you have to believe in him and build not only a team around him, but a coaching staff around him too, that's going to develop his talents. I'm not saying they do or don't have them. There is a lot of talented guys, Jarius Jackson, G. Simon on this staff who know what it's like to win in this league. There's no doubt about it. But the Edmonton Elks are now staring down another disappointing season in which the big headline has been they're going to close the Upper Bowl in Commonwealth Stadium, which still to me is a shocking development over the last few years. It just shows the issues that the entire franchise has had, not only the coaching staff, but this is another significant summer for the Edmonton Elks, because you talk about the Oilers and the issues they've had over the last number of years. This is a proud CFL city. I know it well. And you can't just, the time for losing, the time for disappointments, all the time for changing, as it was with the name change, has come and gone. This team needs to show that it wants to be productive and progress far beyond breaking records, breaking winless records at home.
Yeah, not ideal for sure. Who do you like between BC and Winnipeg? Better, I should
Great
say.
question. It's a great question. I right now, I have seen BC. I saw BC last week in Hamilton. I certainly know what the receiving core is capable of. Certainly know what Matthew Betts is capable of, as is their entire defensive line. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, though, are the established winning organization in this league. I know for a fact that many on that team would love nothing more to get back to the Grey Cup, and would love nothing more than to play the Toronto Argonauts in the Grey Cup. But there is a substantial challenge in the BC Lions, and sure, if not for Dominic Grimes not going down when he should have. It might have been flipped, and we might have been talking about a West final that would be played in BC Place. It's still up for grabs. BC will finish their schedule first, and Winnipeg will have to win. But at this point, as much as I have a tremendous amount of respect for head coach Rick Campbell and the feeling that permeates around his organization, his players, I still look at Zach Collaros, Adam Bighill, Dalton Schoen, Kenny Lawler, Willie Jefferson, and look at everything that organization has built with Mike O'Shea, and know that when it comes time to win, the Bombers usually win. But I am as excited for this playoffs, especially the potential division final matchups, as I have ever been, because if it does end up being the Bombers and the Lions, and maybe on the other side the Argos and the Ticats, we could have some juicy mashups. But certainly the Stampeders and the Rough Riders are failing their way or losing their way to clinch that final spot in the West, and the Alouettes have built something big in the East. But I think that battle between the BC Lions and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, if it ends up being the division final in the West, will be tight. But you have to love at this point the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, because just the consummate winning professional culture that's been built over the last 5-6 years.
That's totally fair. The Calgary Stampeders, like, this is the first time the Stamps and the Elks both looks like I know technically Calgary can still make it, but I don't have a lot of faith that they will. But if they miss, both Edmonton and Calgary miss in the playoffs, man, I can't remember the last time. It's been a long, long time. But both teams, like Edmonton, you're like, okay, Trey Ford, maybe you got some things coming here. They had a young secondary, and they look like they're improving. Calgary just seems to be kind of slowly getting worse, Matt. What's wrong in Calgary? What's missing?
I think your question about Chris Jones and whether or not he can do all three jobs can be then. You could just change the name of the team and the name of the coach and ask me the same thing about Dave Dickinson. I don't put this disappointing season all on him, but this is one thing I will say. For a long time, the Calgary Stampeders, when they were the dominant team in the West and went to Grey Cups in 14, 16, 17, and 18, they were a team that dealt with tremendous amount of injuries, especially to their offensive line. They were able to deal with those lost man games, but not this season. And I have noticed a palpable sense of frustration from Dave Dickinson. I'm not certainly the record, as he told my colleagues in the CFL and TSN, he is not someone who is used to losing. I don't think he can count on maybe a handful of fingers the amount of losing seasons he's had, both as a professional quarterback and as a coach in pro football. But there clearly is something missing. And certainly in this league that it's always driven by the quarterback play. Jake Mayer, although he's put up great yards and had great moments, especially some of those plays he's had to Reggie Begelton, and certainly the injuries to Katim Carey haven't helped, on top of injuries to the offensive line. But this was a team that was able to weather a lot of storms for a lot of years and still able to get to Grey Cups, if not win the whole thing. I think it comes down to consistent play. They've never been able to put four quarters together. Speaking to their defensive coordinator, Brent Munson, he's talked to me about how frustrating it is that his defense will get stops and that the offense may not get down the field, and maybe the offense gets down the field and the defense can't get good stops. And Mike Rose in the defensive line has shared with me just how much it's kind of been surprising to him to see the inconsistent play. I think everyone in that organization is just a little surprised at this whole season, and because they haven't had, although they had a great win in Regina when the Rough Riders came back at the very end on that Hail Mary play and still were able to win the game. The only player who's been consistent for the Stampeders all season has been Rene Paredes. And when your kicker is the one who's putting up the most points and showing up game in and game out, and really not everybody else is when their number is called, that's a big problem.
Matt, great stuff, man. Always good to talk to you. Enjoy the weekend, and we will see, because the playoffs. Now, hey, maybe Montreal can win in the West, though. I'd be stunned if Calgary or Saskatchewan put up much of a fight against BC in the West, Sammy. It definitely seems like that West final. I could, that could be a heck of a game, no question about it. And then, we'll see. The Argos haven't had much to play for a long time, but they still seem to be ready to roll come playoff time and look to try to repeat. So the playoffs will be fun in a few weeks.
Appreciate it, Jason.
There you go. That is Matt Shinetti from CFL on TSN, also soccer on TSN. We'll come back. Cam Tate is going to join us, and also your opportunity to have some fun and help out this weekend. We'll tell you how next on Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
How do we do it? Well, at Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we invest. Our money and time goes right back into technology and training, and it's all designed to get you back into shape. We invest in people, the people who really care, and they understand how your body works. Then they combine their experience, training, and skills to work with you to help you solve your issues, be it pain in the back, neck, arm, shoulder, heel, literally head to toe. Leading Edge Physiotherapy, always taking new patients because we keep fixing the old ones. Life shouldn't hurt. Find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Weekends were made for Oil Kings Hockey at Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Family Fun Sunday in Ice District, your Edmonton Oil Kings get a rare visit from the Seattle Thunderbirds.
There'll be face painting, a kids' fun zone before the game, and more.
And at every home game, score all new kids' food combos for $10 or less. The value is king size.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Seattle Thunderbirds, Sunday afternoon at 4.
Great family entertainment at Rogers Place starts at just $20 a seat. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Rodeo clowning felt like an exciting opportunity. Boy, was I ever wrong. The bulls. So predictable. But you know what's exciting and unpredictable? PlayAlberta.ca. I can bet on any sports game, play online casino games anytime, and buy lottery tickets anywhere.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today and get over $100 in welcome bonuses. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
At Fountain Tire, save big during our Road Ready sales event until October 21st. Who wouldn't want up to 25% on select tires and a bonus of $50 off any service? A lizard, maybe? Or ghost? Restrictions apply, financing available. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Andy Akel at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
First Round is Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Get in the game and watch NFL football this season at First Round. And you'll have a chance to win a trip to your favorite NFL city to watch a game in person next season. And the hits keep on coming with food and drink specials, big screen TVs, and more. Catch the Pro Bowl brunch every Sunday, Monday Night Football, and head in Thursdays for your chance to win an NFL replica helmet. NFL at First Round. Burgers, beer, sports. Downtown West Edmonton Mall and at 1strmd.ca.
There's nothing like having a little skin in the game to make things interesting. But when a little skin becomes more than you can afford to lose, it's time to take a break from sports betting. Set a budget and stick to it. If you gamble, use your game sense.
The temperature's dropping, and so are the prices at Canadian Tire's biggest tire sale of the year. Save up to 25% on top brands like Motomaster, Bridgestone, and Michelin when you stop by Canadian Tire. Only from October 13th to November 2nd. Conditions apply. Details online.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson. Are you one of those people out there looking for something different to heat and cool your home? Weiss Johnson is Edmonton's cold climate heat pump specialist and would love to explain to you how Trane heat pumps are a reliable, cost-effective alternative for your home's heating and cooling needs. Order your Trane heat pump now and take advantage of the generous government rebates that are available. Trane, it's hard to stop a Trane. Call the most experienced HVAC company around with over 45 years in business. Visit wjcools.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. There's something going on every day at OTR. On Monday, Bingo Tunes, Taco Tuesday, Karaoke on Wednesday, Salsa Night Thursday, and live music every weekend on the OTR stage with DJ Kenny K, On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
246, welcome back to Gregor Show with Connor Halley. Hope you're having yourselves a positive Friday. Got lots of texts flying in. Hey, guys, I see Liam Footy's on waivers. Bruce Kurlock said he could be the 11th or 12th forward in the orders. Based on what, I guess would be my question. Right? Like, I know people are asking, hey, he can play center. He's taken a grand total of 19 faceoffs in his NHL career, and he's won 5 of them. He's 26% in the faceoff circle. He had a 41 expected goals. He had a 42 shot for last season. Go down the list on everything in Columbus. It wasn't great. So, yeah, he's a young player who you think maybe will catch lightning in a bottle. But I don't think Edmonton's at a point where they're going to add a young guy and just hope that he can be the answer. I guess you could do it, but why? Like, you got to remember, he can't make Columbus. Are you certain he's going to help your team? Right now, some young players, you know what, are on bad organizations, but they're there. But for him not to make it is different, right? So, yeah, I don't know, man. The reports I got out of Columbus have been uninspired. So I'm not sure if he's the answer. I get people are frustrated, but I wouldn't look at Liam Foudy as the answer. He was a really good junior player, right? Really good junior player. But first round pick. I get all of the pedigree, but so far hasn't really panned out. Now he's been injured, right? Injuries have definitely been a factor. Last year was kind of the most games he's ever played at pro in 4 seasons was 62. So 7 goals, not bad numbers, but his possession numbers were horrible. So is that guy the answer to what the Oilers' woes are? Probably not. Let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate.
It's Friday, October 20th. The 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. They call me Fast Eddie. The numbers just don't add up. 1,103 NHL games, 390 points, and hang on here, Grandpa. -5. Say it with me now, one time, -5. In fact, as a member of the 1997 Montreal Canadian Blue Line Patrol, he was +22. That's the kind of rough, tough, in your face, get that puck out of here right now, player one David Michael Manson was. Now, after the Edmonton Oilers lost to the Philadelphia Flyers last night, the Oilers plus-minus numbers are jarring, especially on the back end. And for Manson, who runs the Oilers defense, he must be awake all night wondering why Evan Bouchard -5, Brett Kulak -3, Matthias Ekblom -1, Philip Proberg -1, Vincent Desharnais -1, Darnell Nurse and Cody Ceci, they are even. And here's the set everyone could be going, what the Sam hell is going on? Nobody, and I mean nobody on the Oiler roster is a +1. Nobody. I watched Manson play in the early 1990s for the Oilers. His play absolutely does not reflect the way Edmonton's defense is playing, and that is a mystery to me. Of course, I'm biased because I consider Manson to be a friend, but I'm willing to park that, Annie. I object if I say I honestly think there's a disconnect between Manson and his pupils. Yes, I know the game has changed since Manson retired from playing in 2002, but the fundamental core of good, sound defensive hockey hasn't. Keep the puck and offensive players away from the net. It's the simple. The Oilers' blue line bunch has been the talking point and will continue to be. We're only 4 games in, and red flags are popping up all over. Given Dave Manson's resume as a player, I cannot understate why. The 2-minute warning with Cam Tate joins the Jason Gregor Show, Mondays and Fridays right here on to Sports 1440.
It's a fair comment. I think it's a fair statement that the there's something maybe missing, disconnect potentially. I don't know what word you'd want to use, but hey, the Oilers, there's, like I said, there's lots of areas of this team that you can look at and say, hey, they got to get better. And overall team defense, I think they got to be a little bit more aggressive at times, more assertive at times, especially the simple thing, protect the house. They're giving up way too many shots from the slot, whether it's off the rush or last night's setup time, which leads to shots in the slot. They need to be much better there at reduced, because that's where the most of the goals come from, right? That's just a fact. That's where most of the goals come from. So great stuff with Tater. We're happy that he's feeling good, got over his pneumonia, and he is back. He joins us every Monday and Friday. For those who don't know, Cam Tate has cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair, and a longtime reporter here in Edmonton, has always wanted to be on radio, and now with the wonders of radio, we allow him to be on there through VoiceBox, which is great. Now let's go in the community, brought to you by United Sport and Cycle. It's a 4th-generation family-owned and operated business in the heart of Old Strathcona. United's been supporting hockey and our community for over 95 years. And speaking of hockey, Kevin Radomski joins us from the Edmonton Oil Kings. Kevin, how you doing, my man? We'll have to get Kev's mic set up there, Cons. So I can't hear him. So we'll get it re-queued up there and see what's going on. But hopefully we get it queued up there. Try it again. Kev, can you hear me now? Yeah, he can, but I can't hear him. Are you muted? Oh, no, he's not. Well, maybe we'll call him. Just get it fixed there, Cons. So got to do a test there. Do an audio test. Hey, guys, what about Phil Kessel? Phil Kessel, no. I don't. What the order, like Phil Kessel is, I know people like he's better than Adam Ernie. Is he better than the role that Adam Ernie's being asked to play? Penalty killer, fourth line guy, be energy and aggressive. That's not Phil Kessel at all. So Phil Kessel is not the goal scorer he was. And Phil Kessel's game isn't one that you expect to be more of a fourth line energy guy. So I don't see it. Honestly, Edmonton's got to solve their problems with what they have. I think trying to think, we're going to bring in this fourth line guy, Liam Foodie, and suddenly the Oilers' top 9 forwards aren't scoring, right? That's what's got to improve. Let's go there. Let's try with Kevin again. Kev, how you doing?
Let's try it again. We good here?
We are good there, yes. So, that's great. Okay, awesome. Director of Business Operations for the Edmonton Oil Kings. And you know what, Kev? It's Socktober. And for those who don't know, it's helping out Operation Friendship Senior Society. The goal is to collect 10,000 pairs of new warm winter socks for low-income and homeless seniors. You can drop it off at the Sports 1440 location here at West Edmonton Mall and other places. And you can bring it to the Oil Kings game.
You bet. You know what's funny is we were collecting socks last Sunday, last Tuesday, and of course this coming Sunday. And we're always blown away with the generosity of Edmontonians. Like when we put the calling out, like I couldn't imagine facing an Edmonton winter without socks. Yeah. Like when you think of things that are frills, having socks on my feet is not a frill. And our fans that have come through already to donate the socks, we couldn't be more appreciative. And for anyone that's coming to the Oil Kings game this Sunday, if you haven't been to the Oil Kings game, they're tons of fun. Tons of family, lots for the kids to do. Throw in a couple socks, buy some brand new socks for those in need, and we'll give you a pair of tickets to our United Against Cancer game next Saturday. So you can kind of do something good and get something to boot as well.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. I like it. So now speaking of the Oil Kings, it's, you know what, a young team that's on the rise, looking to get better. And by the way, Seattle's the opposition on Sunday, so a pretty good team, a pretty good test. And Seattle, they're in a stretcher. I think they play like 6 games in 9 days. So
it's the Western League, baby. They're coming through. They got to get as many in as they can.
Yeah, they definitely do. Your team and just kind of what you've done in the community, Kevin, like you try to, build a lot of that, and not only just with your fans, but also with the players, ensuring that the players are heavily involved.
Absolutely. For people who don't know, the Edmonton Oil Kings are junior hockey players, which means that some of them are in high school if they're of that age. And once they're done high school, they're in post-secondary. They're taking classes to take that next step. And it's a mandate that we grow them on the ice. We want to make sure that we're developing these players, but it's also another mandate that we develop them as young men. And understanding how great it feels to be in this community, participating actively. A lot of people say, we're in the community. Well, we want to get our sleeves rolled up and get right in there. And 2 weeks ago, we put a call out to our fans on Thanksgiving Monday. We said, you know what, let's bring some macaroni and cheese down to the game. Let's use it as noisemakers, and then we'll deliver that to the Edmonton's Food Bank, who are breaking all the wrong records right now. And we donated over 2,200 pounds of food for the Edmonton's Food Bank, and they need it. You have Operation Friendship Senior Society. They're looking for socks. We want to help them out. And I'll tell you, we were at Read-In Week. Have you participated in Read-In Week before, Jason?
Yeah, they ask me every now and then, but I try to keep to the elementary level, Kev. I can't read any higher than that. So
wow, picture books are good, right?
I love the kindergarten classes; they're fantastic.
But like we were out in the community, our team was on the road. They came home at 3:00 in the morning, and you would never know it. Our players were fresh as daisies that next morning, and they were reading to kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, and really igniting that passion for literacy. And just, I'm always amazed that our players have an endless appetite for helping those out in the community, and just endlessly proud of our players and our team. Very lucky to be part of it.
Oil Kings Director of Business Operations, Kevin Radomski, joins us. So if you're going to the game on Sunday, bring some warm socks, and then you will get tickets to an upcoming Oil Kings game. So that's a pretty good trade-off for you're going to help someone else, and then in return, you will get a gift back. So give and receive at the same time, which is excellent. Now you have a few other big games coming up here. Obviously, Star Wars is a big one. Obviously, the teddy bear toss for the brick is a huge one. When is Star Wars night?
So Star Wars night is going to happen on Saturday, December the 9th. So once again, if you haven't been to this one before, we actually have members. They're called the 501st Legion, and they're going to be in full character, full costume. All of the different characters from Star Wars are walking around on the concourse, and they're interacting with our fans. It's a photo op like you'd never see any other time before. So it's all about that family and just having fun at Rogers Place for the Oil Kings.
Are you dressing up?
I am not. I'll be the guy taking the pictures.
Whoa, why not? Why not?
You know what's funny is for me myself, I'm a classic Star Wars guy. Like you want to talk? Oh, what are they now? Episode 3, 3, 4, 5, like the
4, 5, 6.
4, 5, 6. I'm that guy. I am Star Wars 4, 5, 6 guy all day long. That was the pinnacle of Star Wars for me.
Oh, 100%. You could be like the original Luke Skywalker.
Right? Yes.
That goes Han Solo.
That would be big time. What are you going to dress up as, Jason? You're coming down. What are you going to dress up as?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I have a few Halloween costumes, but I've never had a Star Wars costume. So maybe I'll have to might have to look into that. So we'll see. Actually, I know Sports 1440. We're going to be a big part of the Star Wars night. We got a few Star Wars fans around the station, so we'll have some fun with that as it gets a little bit closer. Now, we've got a few texts coming in. Are there any type of socks? Like, do they not want wool socks? Or what do you want for the type of socks we've been asking?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking. You know what's funny is they're actually asking for any type of new sock, but not like dress socks, right?
Okay.
So just think of the people who are probably living a little tough. They need a warm sock. It doesn't need to be super thick. You can go to a Costco of the world or a Walmart and buy a value pack of them. $20 goes a long ways when you're buying socks. But yeah, just not the dress socks. So don't think fashion, think function more than anything.
Function over fashion, man. That was Strutty's motto for most of his life. So still going by that. Yeah, exactly. I love it. Kev, thanks so much for joining us. Have a great weekend. Good luck against the Thunderbirds on Sunday here in Edmonton, and hopefully you get a lot of socks.
Awesome. Thanks so much for the time, Jason.
You betcha. That is Kevin Radomski. Once again, till the end of October, hey, you know what? If you can't make it to the Oil Kings game, but you want to help out, stop by our Sports 1440 studio here in West Edmonton Mall at any point and bring in some socks, right? Maybe I'll even make you a deal. You bring in 2 packs, we'll give you one of the coveted Sports 1440 hats. Ooh, it's a pretty good trade. Not a lot of those, limited edition. So, and you'll be helping out Operation Friendship Senior Society, which really helps out a lot of the seniors, low-income, homeless seniors who need our help. Something as simple as just having a pair of socks to just keep yourself a little bit warmer. Let's get to Connor Halley. Sports 1440 update brought to you by BIE Engineering. Specializing in all your residential, commercial, and industrial structural engineering needs. Go to BIEENG.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Oilers off tonight. They'll look to rebound some more, and they host the Jets. Puck drop 8 o'clock. 2 games in the NHL this evening. The Flames in Columbus at 5, then at 5:30. The Devils up against the Islanders. Major League Baseball playoffs continuing. Astros Rangers 3:07. That series tied at 2 games apiece. And then at 6:07, Philly will look to take a 3-1 series lead over the Diamondbacks when they meet in Game 4 of their series. Week 20 in the CFL kicks off with Calgary in BC tonight. Tomorrow, the Elks in Winnipeg. That's a 5 o'clock start. At 2 o'clock, the Argos taking on the Rough Riders. The face of women's soccer in Canada for the last 2 decades is hanging them up at the end of 2023 as Christine Sinclair announced her retirement at the international level. In 322 appearances, Sinclair has 190 goals, more than anyone else at the international level. She'll play 1 more year at the club level with the Portland Thorns. 7 games in the AJ tonight, including Spruce Grove hosting Okotoks. Puck drop 7 o'clock out at Grant Fuhr Arena. Get your tickets at sprucegrovesaints.ca. At the collegiate level, The University of Alberta Golden Bears in action on the gridiron, taking on Winnipeg. That one gets going at 6 on the ice. You got a home and home with the Dinos for the Golden Bears down at the Drake tonight at 7. Tomorrow in Calgary. The Pandas doing the same, but reversed. They'll be down at the Drake tomorrow night at 7. And at the Saville Center, the Bears volleyball team taking on Thompson River University tonight at 6. The Pandas, they'll meet TRU as well. That one's starting at 7:30. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll talk about fantasy football with Ben Gretz. I'm Connor Halley. This has been the Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
There's 2 seasons in Alberta, winter and construction. During these days of traffic barricades and slower commutes, GS Construction reminds you those crews are improving our communities. They're rehabilitating and upgrading Edmonton's infrastructure all across the city. When you see the barricades and run into a traffic backup, remember, the crews are there to help. Drive slow and be patient. Help make our city better and join the GS Construction team. See what they're hiring for on Indeed.com. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community since 1974.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients. Better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients. Better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports20.
Full service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
Action Electrical is expanding throughout Alberta. With the recent acquisition of Big Hill Electrical Services in Cochrane, Action Electrical is the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta. What does this mean for Action Electrical and Big Hill Electrical Services? It means that they are able to support their clientele all over Alberta with the same high level of professionalism and integrity. From conception to completion and beyond, throughout Alberta, contact
the professionals
at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Hey world, get ready to believe. At Oodle Noodle, we serve up world-class, worldwide flavors in our sweet, saucy, and fiery noodles. We believe in the power of nudes. We've got everything from saucy mac and cheese to sizzling pad thai to so many other unbelievable dishes sure to make you a noodle convert for life. You've got to taste them to believe it. Don't be a skeptic. The proof is in the noodles. Check us out at oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle. We believe in noodles.
You're a smart person, but even smart people make dumb decisions. Not having a will? Dumb. DIY wills? The D stands for dumb. Make a free dumb decision with freedomlaw.ca.
The Verhage Law Team at freedomlaw.ca offer customized legal solutions like wills from just $600 and bundling with things like power of attorney and personal directives to save money. So smart.
Make the smart decision to protect you and your loved ones with freedomlaw.ca.
NOAA for medicine hat writes, Dear Canadian Tire, it's time for upgrades around the house and some upgrades in my toolbox. Any recos? The right tools make all the difference. Cliche, I know, but I once tried to hang curtains without a stud finder. Swiss cheese walls. That's why Canadian Tire carries a wide selection of the tools you need, from brands like Mastercraft, Maximum, DeWalt, Bosch, and Stanley. Get everything you need for fall home maintenance at Canada's store. Visit CanadianTire.ca or the flyer for our top deals this week.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We've continued developing tools and are excited to announce our newest design, battery-powered nut runners. 4 models from 500 to 3,000 foot-pounds with more on the way. Learn more at cantork.com.
Sports radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock, Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube. How are you? It's Positive Friday. Hey, that's the good news, Oilers fans. The week's almost done. You can get home. You can relax. And you know you're all going to be watching. You're going to sit there and you'll be like, you know what? This team's irritating me right now, but I'm watching. Because we know they have more ability. They have more drive. They have more desire. They have more skill. They have more smarts than what they've shown through 4 games. It's frustrating how they played, but make no mistake, I think they are a better team than what we have seen thus far. Now they got to show it, which, hey, it's not that easy. If it was that easy, then everybody, oh, geez, had a bad game, boom, turn it around. It's never that easy. You got to work hard. Got to outwork the opposition. Sometimes you got to outthink the opposition. And the Oilers got to get a little bee in their bonnet, shall we say, tomorrow. But here's the thing. Like, there's 2 desperate teams. The Jets are 1-3, and the Oilers are 1-3. One of them is only going to win one of their first 5 games. Oilers fans are hopeful it's not their team. Let's get to the fantasy report now, brought to you by Next Gen Transportation, heavy haul transport provider who are hiring. We're looking for a great company to work, great opportunities, and they're huge sports fans, great benefits. Go to nextgentransportation.com. Find out more. And last night, hey, maybe he should play with a banged up knee more often. I'm kidding, of course. But Trevor Lawrence looked pretty good last night. Pretty good. And hey, who had hands up, who had the Jacksonville Jaguars at 5-2 through the first 7 games of the season? If you did, kudos to you. Our next guest, he's pretty wise in a lot of his prognostications. We'll find out, did he have the Jaguars at 5-2? Ben Gretz joins us, fantasy football analyst. Ben, how you doing, man? Welcome back to the show. How are things?
Doing well. Things are going good. Got a lot of bye weeks this week to account for, but yeah, we're getting into the swing of things. The buys are hitting heavy now.
Oh yeah. Well, you had 6 teams last week, 6 teams this week. It's I had Joe Burrow on my bench, and I was praying that old Lawrence was going to play, and so thankfully he did, and did all right. Actually rushed pretty well. Let's start not only just from a fantasy perspective, but from a football perspective. Man, Calvin Ridley, the first week he comes in, he's running all these outside patterns. You're like, all right, this is going to be good. And now it's been like he's on a milk carton ever since, man. I don't know if they had the milk carton missing kids in the U.S. or not, but that's what my reference is. What do you make of Ridley and the lack of usage for him in that offense?
I think this game was tough. Marshawn Lattimore's done that to number 1 receivers for a lot of years. He's done it to Mike Evans plenty of times throughout their head-to-head competitions over the years. Tough cornerback, number 1 cornerback. There was some talk that they were rolling safety coverage over. I haven't, dissected the film or anything, but certainly I think he's getting a little bit more attention. I think the other element of it is, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, even Jamal Agnew last night has 6 targets. Those are guys that were all in the offense last year that Trevor Lawrence is comfortable throwing to last year. Still got to get a little bit of familiarity there between the quarterback and the receiver, with Ridley obviously starting this year on the new team with Jacksonville. I don't think at the end, when you look back to where people were drafting Calvin Ridley very high, I don't think we're going to probably see him return value on that. It hasn't been great. I do think we're going to see better than we've seen so far.
What about Jamar Gibbs this weekend? With all, Montgomery's out. Now, I know Gibbs got the hamstring. His coach said, hey, we got to play him. We're going to have to use him a lot. What's your expectations for him? And would you consider him at all ahead of Pacheco or Kenneth Walker III this weekend?
Those are 2 good plays in their own right, for sure. But I do really like Gibbs this weekend. So, if you're in that spot, I think it's close. I'd probably play Walker regardless. I think Gibbs and Pacheco would be the decision for me.
Okay.
I think you have to expect Gibbs is going to get plenty of work from the way that Dan Campbell, head coach of the Lions, was talking. He's saying, he's going to need to take the load. He said, I'd like to say we're going to be careful with him, but the reality is we need him. Their other back, Craig Reynolds, might be more banged up than Gibbs. Gibbs is coming back from an injury. Reynolds got hurt. And David Montgomery, their main other back, is out. So that kind of leaves you in a tough spot where they're going to want to lean on their guy. And there's already been a lot of talk. You get a lot of, like, you know, when I come on your show, sometimes we talk about draft capital. When a team takes a running back 12th overall, the media is asking them all the time, when is this guy going to play? When are you going to lean on this player, et cetera? The draft capital matters for predicting usage in fantasy football. This is a perfect example of a spot where, I mean, they haven't been using him because they also had Dave Montgomery. They paid a lot of money to and is a veteran and is a good player. But that guy's out for this game. This is a spot where you got to expect they're going to have to lean into their number 12 overall pick and show the world why they took him 12th overall.
Ben Gretz joins us. Ben, where do you come out on Jonnu Smith as a tight end right now? I know in a lot of leagues he's a free agent, and he's actually produced decent numbers. Do you expect that to continue?
Any receiving option in Atlanta's passing game is tricky because the pass volume can be so low. Arthur Smith likes to run the ball so much, and it's not necessarily a highly efficient offense. Desmond Ridder, not a high-level quarterback. He's shown some flashes, but certainly I think on the bottom end of the league's quarterbacks. I do think there's a lot of talk in fantasy, and the misconception between him and Kyle Pitts, I think, is worth noting. Jonnu Smith is basically their tight end. Kyle Pitts is essentially a wide receiver. He essentially does not play in-line tight end. He splits out wide or he's in the slot for about 80% of his snaps. Prior to last week, I have not checked this stat this week, but prior to last week, Kyle Pitts had pass blocked on exactly one snap all year of all tight ends, and he's still classified as a tight end who had run some certain threshold of routes. It was 20 or 25 total tight ends. He was last in pass block snaps. Jonnu Smith was like fifth out of these 20 or 25 tight ends in pass blocking. He's an inline tight end. They're playing different positions, but they're both tight ends in fantasy. There's a lot of confusion there. I see a lot of conversation about they're both running a lot of routes is the thing. Most offenses that are not going to have two tight ends running as many routes as these guys are. And so you think of them separately, which when you think about Smith means that I think you can think of him as a viable tight end for the reasons that you know his production have validated. I think the reason people are really hesitant to pick him up is Kyle Pitts is also in this offense. Kyle Pitts, the same way I don't think Smith is an issue for Pitts, I don't think Pitts is an issue for Smith. They're playing different positions. So I do think if you're in a bind at tight end, he's a viable candidate.
I know you study all the numbers, Ben. So you know what? It's been 6 weeks into the season now. You got a good enough sample size to kind of see where guys are at. And, some guys have started slow. Who are some receivers that when you look at matchups moving forward and just kind of how things have changed and progressed in their offense that you think are really going to step it up maybe and be better over the next 4 or 5 weeks than they have been in the first 6?
First name that comes to mind is Jackson Smith and Jigba. First-round receiver for the Seahawks. First 4 games of the year didn't do very much. They had a Week 5 bye. Last week, his routes really rose. He ran a route on 81% of dropbacks, actually matched Metcalf and Lockett. All 3 of them were at the same number of routes there. His average depth of target rose a little bit. They've been thrown to him a lot around the line of scrimmage. And there was one key play where they called a leak play where he came across the field. It was wide open. Pete Carroll talked about it in a press conference this week where they needed that play. Geno Smith kind of got a little skittish in the pocket, winds up scrambling for a nice gain on the ground, but they needed the TD, and he and JSN was open. So that was one where they were clearly trying. And Carroll said we were trying. We had that play in our back pocket the whole game. We designed that play for it's not really a trick play, but coaches will these kinds of leak plays they'll call them a couple times a game, and that's their shot play. They're taking an opportunity right there, and it worked. JSN was wide open. Geno Smith just didn't throw the pass. He through the first 4 weeks still rehabbing from a broken wrist in the preseason, was still wearing a wrap on it. Coming out of the bye, we often see rookies see this type of usage bump. We got the bump last week. Didn't necessarily get the production to back it up, but more positive comments from the team this week. I think we're definitely going to see him continue to grow the rest of the way. I would largely, to answer this question, be focused on the rookies and the young players. Okay. Josh Downs in Indianapolis is a guy that I really like. He's another rookie with Gardner Minshew taking over there. You're going to get more pass attempts. They're going to play fast, but Minshew's not as mobile as Anthony Richardson, who unfortunately has now been he's going to go in for surgery and he's going to miss the rest of the year, kind of been declared out for the year. we're going to get more pass attempts out of the Colts offense now and a lot more short completions. Gardner Minshew is typically a lower ADOT underneath passer. That's Josh Downs' skill set. So if you're in PPR leagues, I think that's a rookie that you'll start to see really grow into a nice underneath role for the Colts. Rashee Rice for the Chiefs, another rookie. He looks like maybe their best receiver.
Yeah.
Another guy that I think we're going to see grow into a role. So those are the spots that I would be looking as the young guys that have, opportunity to grow into roles.
Ben Gretz joins us, so you can follow on Twitter, Yards Per Gretz. It's fantastic to read every week if you want to dig deep on all sorts of different things and kind of just get past the headline when it comes to fantasy football. Now, when you mention Seattle's offense, do you think with the emergence of the young guy, is there any concern that Metcalf's usage drops a bit?
I wouldn't say a massive concern, but there should be some concern. Yeah, I mean, and I wasn't really on Metcalf in draft season for this reason. Anytime you bring in a first-round receiver with a profile like JSN has, and he has a really great profile. We look at age-adjusted production. You want guys in college that produce at a young age and are able to come right into college and do good things. JSN was producing at a young age, and he was producing in an offense at Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, who have gone on to be really good receivers at the NFL level, and he was out-producing them. He was gaining more yardage than them when they were on the field together. So we knew this guy could put up numbers, and then he tested really well this offseason, blew up camp. Everybody, reports out of Seattle, but nothing but positive about JSN. When you add a player like that to your passing game, it's certainly going to be a concern. And as he starts to develop, and I think he's going to continue to play or not continue. He's going to start to play very well. I mean, I think it's an issue for Metcalf. At the same time, I think we overstate sometimes like competition in passing games. It can be a rising tide for everyone as well. If JSN's really hitting, it might mean more single coverage for DK Metcalf, and that's a great situation for him as a downfield weapon, very physical receiver. I mean, a little bit of a concern. It's not a concern, but it could also be played as a positive as well.
You look at certain teams that are automatically just going to start playing better. We've seen that the last few weeks with Cincinnati. Joe Burrow got healthy. Now he has a bye week. Could probably get even healthier. Jamar Chase. I think it was you who put out the numbers. And, Jamar Chase, how many times he's been like legitimately wide open, right? Significantly. So he's beating guys all over the field. T. Higgins is banged up. The bye week is likely going to help him. What do you make of Joe Mixon's season, though, in Cincinnati? Is he a guy that you like? Would you buy low on him right now? Do you think that Joe Mixon can find his game?
He's a tricky one for me. His workload doesn't look like it could possibly be any less jeopardy. He's the guy. They restructured him. They're not probably going to keep him after this year. They're going to use him all year this year. They're going to ride him, and they're probably going to let him walk and get a new young running back next year, would be my guess. And that's what they've shown so far. The tricky part is I think that people get caught up with running backs and just projecting the workload, but you need a workload, but you also need efficiency. I mean, you need running backs that can actually produce. There's a lot of opportunity efficiency models, expected points, fantasy points over expected. A lot of ways you can look at this throughout the industry, but the way that I would just put it is it's not just the workload. If you're inefficient, if you're not able to score as many fantasy points as your workload kind of says you should be able to, that's kind of a problem. That you can't, you can only get so big of a workload. That's been Mixon for the last few years. He's been really poor in the green zone. I call it the red zone. Inside the 10 is the green zone. Not able to convert touchdowns, getting a lot of touches down there, but just doesn't do a good job of hitting the hole hard and picking the right hole out and getting there. He's an athletic player, but doesn't seem to get as much as he should out of his physical traits necessarily. He catches some passes, but isn't great in the passing game. He's always seemed to be this guy that's not as good as his reputation in terms of actually producing the fantasy points. The role's going to be there. I think the floor is going to be high, but I don't think he's going to be like a league winner or anything. He could be with his role if he could be efficient on it. We saw it last year in one game where he had the 5-touchdown game and it all came together. One game, he had a 50-point game, but the rest of the year, I don't think he had another 20-point game the rest of the year, and even in PPR. Very inefficient compared to his role. I tend to try to sell those guys and buy the guys that I think have the ability to be better than what their role is, add efficiency to their role. So those are the types that I'd be looking at.
Ben, that's why we love having you on, man. Great insight. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend. Thanks so much for your time.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Ben Gretz. He's a fantastic follow. Yards Per Gretz on Twitter. if you're playing fantasy football, man. And like his articles, man, you subscribe to him. It's unbelievable the detail that he goes into, and really can give you some good insight on matchups specifically from week to week when sometimes you're maybe on the fence on who you want to play. It's great. 321, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. When we come back, the Oilers and the Jets, also the Elks and the Bombers, a double dip of Edmonton, Winnipeg. Obviously, the Elks are the underdog, but the Jets and the Oilers both struggling. 1-3. What happens tomorrow? Who's more desperate? We'll find out next on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation YouTube.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is sounding the call. Don't struggle through winter with a furnace you can't trust. For maintenance before winter strikes, call Legacy. Call Legacy. For furnace tune-ups and repairs to give peace of mind. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. Or to scrap your old furnace for a brand new high-efficiency one. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your new furnace, it's gotta be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
Ain't it beautiful? There's electricity in the air. Carrie Dahl here for Volvo of Edmonton, where the Volvo XC40 and C40 fully electric vehicle is now in stock, along with a great selection of Volvo T8 hybrid models. Experience the trusted Volvo quality and technology to power into tomorrow at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference. Volvo of Edmonton.
You know, I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair.
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With an all-new sportsbook, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
How exciting is it to have Sports Talk Radio back in Edmonton?
Tie game, bottom of the ninth with a full count. The kick, the pitch. It's high, it's far, it is gone! Walk-off home run!
Yeah, it's pretty much like that. Edmonton Kubota is excited to welcome back Sports Talk Radio, Sports 1440. We'll be dialed in for every minute. Get it done, and then some, at Edmonton Kubota. All compact BX tractors on sale with 0% financing for 84 months. Stop by on 128th Ave or visit edmontonkubota.com.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
When Ottawa's proposed electricity regulations make electricity unreliable, the things you rely on won't work when needed. Your hot water, computer, washer and dryer, electric car, TV, lights, mobile phone, stove, your heat in -30. Visit tellthefeds.ca to learn why Canada's power grid will be unreliable. And tell the feds, reliable and affordable electricity matters. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history, supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.326. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show. Hey, big shout out to our buddy Dustin Nielsen texting the show. The guys, Oilers Bring back a good old number 98. That's got to be Nelly's burner. There's no one else that would do that. I can tell you this very honestly: 0 chance Puljujärvi would come back, and 0 chance the Oilers would bring him back. That is a mutual parting of the ways that neither side would want to try again. Not happening. So you know what? I hope for Puljujärvi's sake he gets healthy, and we'll see. What I saw the video. It's good that he's skating and looks like he can move. That's awesome. But I don't think he's the answer for the woes of the Edmonton Oilers. And honestly, he wouldn't want to come here. Like, he didn't leave with a lot of positive vibes, a lot of confidence about himself. He went to Carolina. Obviously, things didn't work out there either. So we'll see. He might have to start in Finland and play and see. Maybe a team takes a chance on him. Find out. When you're 6'4", that big. When he's healthy, he can move, but he's probably a third-line player. And if he accepts that he's a third-line player, at best, then to start anyway, then he's probably got a better chance of success, for sure. Let's get to the oil report now, brought to you by Volvo of Varvel Cars, Edmonton, where right now, $5,000 off all remaining 2023 vehicles. Doesn't matter which one you want. XC60, XC90, the X60, they got them all. If it's 2023, 5G off. Check it out, VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, or go see them in person on the south side, 1205 101st Street Southwest. And it's a rare double day, Edmonton, Winnipeg. You have the Bombers hosting the Elks at 5 o'clock our time tomorrow, and then 8 o'clock, the Oilers are hosting the Winnipeg Jets. Will either city get a sweep? The Bombers are clearly heavy favorites in their game, and I'd be willing to bet they're going to win their game. No question. But the Oilers and the Jets, 2 teams coming in struggling. Both are 1-3. I think both teams not happy with their start. The Jets, they can't defend. They got Connor Halley, and they're just leaking 4 goals every game. What is going on? We will find out what is missing from Ted Wyman from the Winnipeg Sun. Ted, I know there's lots of talk about the crowds and stuff, and, that's a total different topic of conversation. And, hey, I understand finances. But the Jets, 4 goals against every game, man. That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it really doesn't, especially when you consider that they've done a really good job in terms of the possession game. If you look at the numbers, for 3 of their 4 games, they vastly outplayed the opposition in terms of having the puck in the offensive zone, shot attempts, and shots. And really, they were 1-1 after losing in Calgary and then beating Florida. And yeah, they had given up 4 goals or 5 goals in one of those games and 4 in the other. But it seemed like they were kind of driving things, and everybody was, and people weren't too worried about things. And then they really got hammered by the Los Angeles Kings. And then they come back again and they play another pretty good offensive game, pretty good puck possession game last night against Vegas, but they lose that one. And again, as you said, they give up another 5 goals. So, it's been nothing less than 4 in every game. Connor Halley's save percentage is .843. And then Laurent Brossoit comes in last night and his was .846. And that number is just absolutely not acceptable. There's no doubt that the goaltending hasn't been good, but I don't think the defending's been very good either. The Jets have put a lot of stock under Rick Bowness into having the defensive players provide offense and jump into the play and make things happen that way. And it certainly seems to be driving them to getting more offense, but maybe defense is suffering because it just has not looked very tight around the net so far this season.
No, not at all. And, frustrating, I'm sure, for Jets fans, as they were hoping for a better year. I don't think there's any question about that. And they had all the big news, right? Hellebuyck and Scheifele both signing to commit to Winnipeg long-term. And so far, it hasn't given the boost, at least in the results. So, but you say that maybe Winnipeg's playing better overall than what the numbers say. But while they're out shooting teams significantly, are they giving up just too many quality chances, Ted? Because, it's kind of what the Oilers were a little bit too, except the Philly game. And their other ones, the first game, the second game, they outchanced Vancouver, but they only, gave up 4 goals on 16 shots. So it's not ideal. But is that what you're seeing from the Jets, or is there a specific area defensively that they've been very weak at?
Well, I think there is some quality chances. That might be part of the issue. It's also that the other teams are finishing their chances. The Jets are not.
Okay.
Just for an example, the game against Vegas last night, the Jets had 30 shot attempts to Vegas's 9 in the third period. Jets tied it up at 3-3. Then they take a penalty, and then Mark Stone makes an incredible play. Great pass to Jack Eichel, and he roofs it and he scores, and that's it. Vegas wins that game. That was about the only chance he generated in the third period. But they're making it work. So I think if you're looking at the overall, it's such a small sample size. So by no means is anybody saying the Jets aren't going to be a good team this year. It's early.
Yeah.
But I think from what we've seen so far, it has been a little bit of a puck luck issue for them. I think they've been played well enough, certainly, to be 3-1 right now, as opposed to 1-3. And I mean, again, small sample size, but that would be a much different perception around Winnipeg and around the league. As you mentioned before, there's been so much talk about the attendance situation, which is, of course, very concerning, but I don't think that many people have really even been that focused on what the Jets are doing on the ice at this point yet. But, you don't want to get off to a really slow start in this league, because it can be so hard to overcome.
Ted Wyman joins us from the Winnipeg Sun, 100%. And, and the Edmonton, the Oilers don't have a third period goal in 4 games, and they've trailed in 3 of those games where you'd think you'd be a little bit desperate and pushing. And last night they barely showed a pulse in the third period against Winnipeg. So I would think you're going to see 2 teams both desperate tomorrow. I'm expecting Hellebuck's going to get the start.
I would think so. Yeah. I mean, they got Brossois in their last game, and it's not like he lit the world on fire. I think Connor Halley has had starts like this before. He's had a couple of seasons where he just didn't get off to the greatest start, and in one of them he ended up winning the Vezina Trophy. So I mean, you can't read too much into his early struggles. But the fact is, he wasn't very good in the playoffs for them at the end of last season. He comes back, he gets his brand new contract. He comes in, he lets in 4 goals every game for the first 3. There's certainly a little bit of concern there. And I will say this: if Hellebuck outplayed the other goaltender in any of the games that he's been in, the Jets absolutely would be 3-1. They haven't. I don't believe that there may be one game, the game against Florida, where he might have been a bit better than Bobrovsky, or it was very close. And in every other case, it's been the opposition goaltender that has been the best goalie on the night.
Nate Schmidt, $5.95 million cap hit, healthy scratch last game.
Yeah.
What's up with Schmidt?
Well, Nate Schmidt is, he's a player that I don't think had a particularly great season last year. He looked like he may have lost his job in the preseason. The Jets were looking like they were ready to go with their 2019 first round pick, Ville Heinola, as on defense on the third pairing. And unfortunately for Heinola, he got injured in the last preseason game, and he's out for 6 weeks. So in comes a chance for Schmidt to get back in the lineup, and then after just a few games, he's out. But it's partly a function of them wanting to make sure that Logan Stanley gets some ice time, right? Like, they did sign Stanley to a 1-year contract. They don't want him to sit there and not play all year long. And they've also got Declan Chisholm on the roster, who they want to get in at some point too. Somebody's got to come out, and in this case, Schmidt was the odd man out. There's a couple other defensemen that I don't think are playing very well right now, and Brendan Dillon and Neil Pionk, but those aren't guys that you're going to take out of the lineup. So I think Schmidt is going to have to play very well, all season long to keep his spot. And in all honesty, in one of the games that they lost, in Calgary, he had a big role in it because he iced the puck unnecessarily. Nobody near him. He was in his own end. He didn't need to flip it all the way down the ice. Kind of said he was going for the goal, but he missed. And 9 seconds later, the puck was in the Jets' net after the icing, and they lost that game. And that was a game they probably should have won. So, he knows he has to be better than that. He knows he has to be better than he has been so far. But I don't know that his salary is going to save him this season. Yeah. I think there's a scenario there where if somebody's outplaying him, he's not going to be in there.
So, salary aside, you mentioned he didn't play very well last year. Is this a guy who's, gets on the wrong side of 30 and is just slowing down, or, what's kind of lacking in his game? And do you think he can get it back?
Nate Schmidt is a really likable guy and one of the best guys to talk to in the Jets locker room, without question. a quote machine, all those things. But I don't know that, I think the contract that he signed was a bit of a beast. And it was enough of one for Vegas that they had to move him along. And then it was enough of one that, Vancouver got him, and then they wanted to move him along. And the Jets felt like they had a chance to go for it a couple of years ago. And the missing pieces were a couple of veteran defensemen, so they were willing to take on this large contract of Nate Schmitz, and they did the same thing with Brendan Dillon. It has hampered them somewhat because you didn't know. I think it's an indication that Nate Schmidt's game's been declining since his first season with Las Vegas. But I don't think you know that at the time you're taking your chance. Right now, we're starting to see that it's a little more clear that he's been on a downward trend for a while. I think he can still play in the league, but people attach a lot of expectations to that contract that he signed a few years ago.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing how suddenly that will change the expectations. And all of a sudden you're like, hey, wait a sec. This guy isn't what we think. But if we look at matchups, Josh Morrissey, I'm assuming he's going to face a lot of McDavid and Draisaitl as a parent. Although Neil Pionk's done a really good job of getting in the grill of McDavid. You mentioned maybe he hasn't played well. Is that maybe what he's looking for to try to jumpstart his season? Because for whatever reason, man, he gets right in the grill of McDavid and has played pretty physical on him, played quite well.
Yeah, I think that the pairing of Dillon and Pionk just hasn't been great so far. And Morrissey's pairing last night with Dylan DeMello also struggled against that top line of Vegas's. But that line with Stone and all the guys that are, all the big names there in Vegas, it's very tough to handle them, as I'm sure everyone in Edmonton knows. But, Josh Morrissey gets that every game. He's always going to be facing top guys. And more often than not, he comes out on the plus side and the possession side and still helps drive the offense. He's certainly a very dynamic player. But I don't think you do get that physical, edgy side very often from Morrissey. He's more of that calm and cool presence back there. And Neil Pionk, nice guy off the ice, but he can certainly get in there in the corners and let guys know that he's around. So if it works at all, I'd say anything that works against Connor McDavid to slightly get him off his game is what you're going to try to do.
Quickly switching to football, the Elks are in their final game of the regular season. They're missing the playoffs. The Bombers are battling BC for the bye in the first round. It should be barring a shock, I'm going to see BC and Winnipeg, and obviously they're going to play for home field advantage. The Bombers are looking like they're going to get their fourth consecutive sellout, and the Jets are down to 11,000 fans. Now, I know it's only once a week, but I have to think, Ted, that it's simply price point. Is that what's keeping Jets fans away?
Yeah, I couldn't possibly tell you for sure what's keeping Jets fans away, because I think there's multiple reasons. And I think a lot of different fans have their own different reasons why. But if you're going to look for a common denominator, I'm pretty sure price is the thing. And you're right. You can go to a Bomber game and it doesn't cost that much. There's an easy parking situation down there at the university. It is only once a week, and it's a really good time. Like, the Bombers have done an absolutely fantastic job of making their stadium environment a great big party, and people love to come there and party, and on a Saturday night, might be a little chilly, but it's a big game. It's a really important game for the Bombers, unless of course the BC Lions lose tonight, in which case it won't be an important game for the Bombers. But people want to be a part of this. The Bombers went 29 years without winning the Grey Cup. They've been the best team in the league in general ever since then. Maybe you can argue Toronto this year. And I think the fans are just soaking it up. They want to enjoy it while it lasts. And, I don't know that it totally reflects on the situation with the Jets, that people are not necessarily deciding to spend their money on the Bombers or instead or whatever. But they're just doing something right.
Yeah.
And they want to ride it as long as they possibly can.
Ted, it's been a great run for them, man. And them and the Lions, and then potentially maybe them and the Argos in the Grey Cup would be fantastic. The top three teams in the CFL, I think we all know who they are. And it's going to be pretty competitive if we can get two of those three in the Grey Cup. But as we know in the playoffs in the CFL, anything can happen once you're in. So we'll see how that goes.
Who knows? Somebody sneaks in the West at 6-12, and you never know, right? You got to play the games.
Yeah, you bet. Appreciate your time. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Take care.
There you go. It's that easy, Ted Wyman. So Hellebuck, geez, look at their goals against, man. 843 save percentage for Hellebuck in Winnipeg. Struggling. They've given up 5, 5, 4, and 4 so far this year. 5 3 times and 4 once. Not ideal. As he mentioned, they can't score on their chances. They're getting a lot of chances, can't score. Some Oilers can relate to that. So I think you're going to have two desperate teams tomorrow night. It's either going to be a sloppy game or a very well-played game. We'll see. When we come back, we're going to do our best inner John Candy next on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 and live on Oilers Nation YouTube. You might want to watch.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Our cars are our lifeline, and every now and then we need to take care of them too. Cochran's Automotive services your vehicle with pride. When you need to fix it up, bring the whole family fleet. Junior's WRX, Mom's MPV, Dad's 1500, or even Grandpa's old 88. All makes and models are welcome. Trust Cochran's Automotive to professionally repair your family's pride and joy. They've got you covered for Volkswagen diesel timing belts too. Call 780-452-5001.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. United's annual Hockey Days sale is on now. Save up to 20% off on skates, 25% off on equipment, and 35% off on all Pro Stock sticks. United Sport and Cycle, your home of hockey for over 95 years.
You know, I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair.
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With an all-new sportsbook, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
The Wolfpack is out this month at Wolf GMC Buick, and the deals on Denali's are spectacular. Every in-stock 2023 GMC Denali is on sale. Terrain, Acadia, Sierra, Yukon. If it's a Denali, it's on sale. Special 0% financing for 48 months on remaining Sierra Denali half tons. Discounts on all Denalis. Hurry in for best selection and Denali deals that will take your breath away. The exclusive Denali sale on now.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
You can't predict exactly how your harvest will go. So here's the next best thing, InvigorResults.ca. Featuring localized and replicated trial results, you can see how InVigor canola hybrids could perform in your fields. But more importantly, the results demonstrate our consistent track record and undisputed leadership, giving you the confidence to flex your harvest muscle season after season. Go to InVigorResults.ca to see results in your area today.
There's nothing like having a little skin in the game to make things interesting. But when a little skin becomes more than you can afford to lose, it's time to take a break from sports betting. Set a budget and stick to it. If you gamble, use your game sense.
The temperature's dropping, and so are the prices at Canadian Tire's biggest tire sale of the year. Save up to 25% on top brands like Motomaster, Bridgestone, and Michelin when you stop by Canadian Tire. Only from October 13th to November 2nd. Conditions apply. Details online.
From waking up extra early, taking that long drive to the airport, and waiting to board for hours and hours, the last thing you want up in the air is your travel insurance. The James Insurance Group is here for home and auto, travel insurance, and much more. Working for Albertans across the province, the James Insurance Group will find you the best value and coverage you need. Find us at tjig.ca. That's tjig.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Roger Weir and his team at Weir, Pearson, Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management, helping business owners and professionals build, protect, and enjoy their wealth. Earn more now and call Roger and his team at 988-4119.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Positive Friday. How are you? Text line is humming. 833-401-1440 in our Jiffy Lube inbox. Hey, boys, the Jack Campbell goal was a killer. Down 2-1 in the power play. Can't let that in. It broke our backs. That was the turning point from Weeksy. It definitely wasn't a great play, Weeksy, but I'll say this. If the Oilers are that fragile that goal leads to them to just not even put up a fight in the third period, like you would think your power play, because, hey, Connor McDavid had complete control, has a turnover, then, they go down the other way, they score. Obviously, you would want to save there. There's no question about that. But wouldn't you want your PP to say, okay, let's come back. We got to get one back for us next time we get a power play. We didn't see that. And the third period, man, they got 4 shots. They were trailing 3-1. Like 2-goal leads in the NHL are not like what it used to be. This is not the lockdown early 2000s where, heck, a 1-goal lead, you might as well turn the TV off because no one's coming back. Last year, they set an NHL record for most comebacks in NHL history, right? Teams are giving up 2-goal leads. We see it across the league. So, yes, not a great goal, but I would say the back is rather weak if you have no pushback from that. So, Adam texts in, he's coming by. He's dropping off some socks. He wants that hat. Well, Adam, you bring the 2 packs of socks, and we will give you a Sports 1440 hat because, of course, it is socked over. Today, only on Positive Friday, that's what we're doing. So if you want to stop in with 2 packs of socks to donate for Operation Friendship Senior Society, just don't make them dress socks, please. All right? They don't have to be wool socks, just nice ones. Probably the black ones everybody likes. They're good. Now, we're sitting in studio, and I could smell it, and instantly – it has me thinking of the old 96er, for anybody who remembers the classic Great Outdoors movie when John Candy is going to take a run at eating a massive steak. Well, here's your opportunity not to kill yourself. Tomorrow night, you can try the 40-ounce, like a 40-ounce steak. I see one right beside me. Like, 40 ounces, you think, until you see it, and you're like, damn. Like, I think for some people who have a really good appetite, you might be able to take it down. Like, there's 0 chance I could do it. I'll tell you right now. And I'm a farm guy. I love steak. But I don't think I could eat the 40-ouncer. Patty from the brew house joins us. Have you taken down a 40-ouncer? Have you tried one, Patty? What's going on?
I have not. I've tried, and
You couldn't finish?
I think just because I'm a big dude doesn't mean I can eat a lot. But, yes, I could not finish it. There's no way.
How close?
3/4 of it.
Okay, so you got 30 ounces.
Yeah, but I also would have trimmed off all the fat. I would have made it very bougie for me to eat it. Yes, yes.
So tell us about tomorrow. This is a huge fundraiser for Canadian farmers, correct?
Yes, yeah. So we're Alberta and across Canada. We can't just source out the meat here. So
yes,
it's actually helping out a lot of farmers across Canada since we are Canada-wide doing this. So 5,000 steaks is what the number that I got after my show this morning here with Kevin. So, but yeah, 5,000 steaks we've already sold. 5,000
steaks. So it's at any brew house except the Ice House.
Except the Ice House.
Except the Ice House tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if you want to call when you want to raise the reservation, you get a 40-ounce steak, and it's $49.99. Now, does a 40-ounce steak, does it come with potatoes and everything else?
Yes, sir. Mashed potatoes, gravy, seasonal veg, cheese toast, and our famous steak sauce.
Oh, man. Like, I'm assuming some people are coming, and this could be like a romantic dinner for 2 if you really wanted it to be.
I feel like your wife would not be happy, but there is an Oiler game. So, yes.
Yeah, well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Hey, she's a meat eater. She'd like it. My wife would actually probably like it more than I would. She loves the red meat and the steak. So what came up with this? How'd you guys come up with this idea? And why 40-ouncer?
Well, like I was saying before, we used to be 32, and then our amazing owners and the thought of something cool and big, and how do we bring people in that nothing really gets served that often. And I think it started about 8 years ago, and Now it's 40 ouncer. We also do tomahawk. It's a tomahawk. It's a 40-ounce ribeye. And we haven't. This is one of the most successful ticketed events that we do in our company.
So if people out there want to try it tomorrow, they're best to call a brew house that's close by to them today to book a reservation.
Yes, I would go on Open Table, search for the Canadian Brew House 40-ounce steak night, and then buy a ticket. There are some that are sold out. Lewis Estates is actually doing a pop-up one tonight because they are sold out for tomorrow.
Okay.
So I know Lewis Estates is available today, walk-in as well. But yeah, check out Open Table Canada-wide.
And so most of them will be there tomorrow. And now what time does the reservation start? Like what time can you have your first steak?
We just ask that you call or come in, but anytime after 4:30, 5 o'clock.
So
yeah.
no nooners for steak is what I'm saying.
Well, we're not going to say no because it's going to be there. But if you want to eat a 40-ounce steak at noon, yeah, you're probably sleeping during the other game. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. You might get the meat sweats a little bit too much. So now, are you going to try to down one tomorrow? Because I can see you're staring at it right now. It's like it's a challenge. You're like, God, it got me last time. I want to try it again.
Yeah, I feel like I have to, but I like I said, I'm a little bougie. I'd probably get the kitchen guys to actually trim it for me, slice it in steak bites, put it on a plate for me, and then I'd maybe crush it over a couple hours.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, does it come with like a special napkin or a handkerchief?
No, it doesn't come with anything. You get a pat on the back and
geez.
a good 8-hour nap.
So now you've done how many people will finish it? On like do you have the numbers from last year? Like if you did 5,000 out of 5,000, how many solo finished it?
I bet you I'd be safe in saying 75% of the people would finish it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's some diehards. There's some diehards, man.
Wow.
Diehard. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a really good deal. 40-ounce steak for $49.99.
Yeah. And we're giving away a $10,000 smoker as well.
Whoa. What?
Yeah. So we're putting it a draw.
So anybody who buys a ticket.
Anyone who buys a ticket gets in a draw, and we're giving away a $10,000 smoker.
So you get the steak, you get the potatoes, you get the veg, you get the toast.
Yes, sir.
And you have a chance to win the smoker.
Yes, sir.
Ooh.
Yes,
Geez.
sir.
Pretty big smoker if it's 10 G's.
Yeah, it is. It's
cook a few 40 ounces on it.
You can probably cook the whole cow on there.
Yeah. Now we have some people wondering, can you have any type? Can you have it blue? Can you medium rare? Does it matter?
Yeah, we actually don't recommend it past medium.
Okay.
We actually, number one, it's going to take an hour to cook it. and number two, nobody wants to eat a ribeye past that. So yeah, you can get it blue. You can get it blue rare, whatever way you like.
Oh, I respect the people that eat blue. I can't do it.
Yeah, they're animals.
They are literally. It's very close. Well, Patty, thanks so much for bringing it in. I know Connor and Declan have been talking about to see which one of them can take a run at it. So the young bucks, we'll see who can take a run at it today.
Yeah, and these were all prepped at our ribeye butcher shop, so it's in town here. I know I didn't have the answer for Kevin this morning, but big shout out to the ribeye guys there all across the city here.
So these are all ribeyes.
All 40-ounce ribeyes across the board.
40-ounce ribeyes.
Yes,
so check it out. Go to Open Table. Look up the Canadian Brew House, the 40-ounce steak. It's $49.99. That's a really good deal. And but you want to book your reservation, so you could time it. Go there at 6 o'clock, stick around, have your steak. You know what? Maybe take a nap in the booth and then be ready to go for the oil game at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, guaranteed Oiler W.
Guaranteed it. I like. Ooh, geez, that's gutsy when the team's 1-3. Gutsy, but hey, it's Positive Friday. Why not? I like it. All right, thanks, Patty. Have a good one.
Thank you.
That's Patty from the Brew House, who is very generous all the time. Gives us some tickets to send many of you to the few Oiler games and to Oil Kings game. And now I'll take a picture of this bad boy. Woo!
You got to pick it up, Greg, or throw it on the old YouTube stream here. Let people see this.
I should. Yeah, I'll do it right now. Okay.
You slide over. It's probably pretty heavy.
Hands. Yeah.
I'm a farm guy. I can lift up a steak with one hand. So yes, this is very. Let me look if I can see on camera. See, look at that. Ooh. That is, yeah, I knew I would do that. Drop the, what is that? The gravy?
People might go crazy that you drop the steak sauce.
Yeah, I know. The steak sauce. My bad.
It.
So I'll have to clean that up. But, so that's a rookie mistake on my part. But don't tell the engineers. So that's a rookie mistake. But man, that's like that thing is huge. Like, think about it. For just to give you I do it again if you're watching, and I'll take a picture of. But just the size of my hand doesn't even cover the steak, right? Like, it's ridiculous. That's how big this bad boy is. So it's and good for you. 75% of people finish it. That's impressive. got some diehard eaters, man. That's really impressive. I don't, well, I know me. I couldn't do it. I've never been a big eater. Like, now, if that was a 40-ounce Big Turk, we might have a conversation. But 40-ounce steaker, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it at all. Hey, guys. Hey, Greg's happy to have you back. Fantastic 96er reference. Rest in peace, John Candy, and him arguing with the server that he finished it, and it's just Grizzle from Dave at the Raven. Dave, that's very good memory, man. It's true. But I could see, you know what? Back in the old school days, right? Because there used to be a lot of those contests, and I could see them being very finicky about it because they kind of take it like it's a badge of honor that no one could eat their 96er except all the great outdoors, John Candy. It's a beauty. Hey, boys, I ate a 40-ounce porthouse once at Morton's in Chicago. A la carte, $8 for the baked potato, $10 for Caesar salad. Can't remember what I had for dessert, but it was fabulous. Nothing exceeds excess. Whew. Nothing exceeds like excess, is what Walter's saying. Well, Walter, get down to the brew house, man. Try it out. See if you can do it. Hey, boys, is that good for the Grand Prairie location? Yes, sir. Yes, indeed it is. Yeah, any brew house in the country except the Ice House. Okay, that's the only one tomorrow, so don't be disappointed. We've told you many times it's not the Ice House. Every other brew house location across the country. So there you go. I like it. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Now, did you know? And trust me, because it's coming. You don't have to wait till the snow. In fact, your tires should be changed once the weather is 7 degrees or below that for 7 straight days, which is coming very quickly. So book your tire change ahead at fountaintire.com. Here's Connor Halley.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Oilers off tonight, back in action tomorrow. Looking at rebounds. They'll host the Jets. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock. 2 games on the ice tonight. The Flames in Columbus at 5. And the Devils taking on the Islanders at 5:30. Week 20 in the CFL tonight. Calgary in BC taking on the Lions tomorrow. The Elks in action. They're in Winnipeg taking on Bombers at 5. At 2 o'clock, you got the Argos up against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The face of women's soccer in Canada for the last 2 decades is hanging them up at the end of 2023 as Christine Sinclair announced her retirement at the international level. In 322 appearances, Sinclair had 190 goals, more than anyone else at the international level. She'll play 1 more year at the club level with the Portland Thorns. 7 games in the AJ this evening as Spruce Grove hosting the Okotoks Oilers. Puck drop at 7 of the Grant Pier Arena. You can get your tickets at sprucegrovesaints.ca. And the Golden Bears and Pandas in action tonight. The football team taking on Winnipeg. The Bisons out in Winnipeg. Kickoff at 6. On the ice, the Bears have a home and home with the Dinos. Tonight it's down at the Drake at 7. The Pandas will do the same. They'll host Calgary tomorrow at 7 as well. And at the Saville Center, the Bears volleyball team takes on Thompson River University at 6. The Pandas meet TRU as well. That one's starting at 7:30. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host Wanye Gretz of Oilers Nation, Craig Button from the NHL on TSN, and we'll ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Everyone loves a comeback. Hi, I'm Colin from Cantork. The flame of Edmonton sports fever burns bright. Cantork proudly continues our partnership with Jason Gregor, excited to re-enter the arena of sports radio on Sports 1440.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Corporate Business Solutions is celebrating 22 years of local service, local support, local always. Established in 2001, Corporate Business Solutions has grown to become the largest Konica Minolta digital office equipment dealer in Western Canada. When you call CBS, you'll always speak with a live person, just like you and your business deserve. Thank you to our loyal customers for their 22 years of continued support. Our success is owed to you. For local service, local support, local always. Call 780-490-5600 or visit cbsca.com.
Did you know oil changes could get you closer to your next vacation? Right now at Jiffy Lube, get 50 bonus air miles reward miles when you get a Pennzoil Platinum oil change. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
Ain't it
beautiful. What does excellence mean to you, and how does it impact your decisions? Friends, it's Carrie Dahl, and I know that at Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't an option, it's their everything. From customer satisfaction in sales, service, inventory, and retention, they excel in all. Congratulations, Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Don, buddy, want to come over and watch the game? I'll make a big salad.
I don't know, man.
Steve, come over and watch the game. I've got a massive salad here.
Yeah, my wife needs me to go shopping with her.
Mike, want to watch the game and eat salad with me?
Who is this?
Did I mention I've got a bunch of Will Hawk beef jerky too?
I'll be right over. I'm heading over now. I'm already at your front door.
Will Hawk beef jerky, because you don't win friends with salad.
Will Hawk is the home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
In Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club? Kick off your week with unbeatable savings. Enjoy half-price golf from Monday to Thursday. Elevate your game without emptying your wallet. Book your tee time today. cattailcrossing.ca.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit bieeng.com.
When you live in rural Alberta, you know every job is easier with the right team behind you. And when it comes to your financial goals, you deserve a team committed to getting the job done. That's where we come in. VCU Financial, a division of Vision Credit Union, offers start-to-finish financial services delivered with life in rural Alberta in mind. Talk with our team of expert financial advisors about solutions for your financial goals. We'll get you there. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Weiss Johnson, whoa!
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson. Can you believe that summer is over and fall is here? With that in mind, we are offering free furnace upgrades from Daikin, should you be looking to get a new furnace. This means getting a better model of furnace that provides you greater comfort at a lower price. Plus, Daikin has the best warranty in the business. There's never a better time to get a new Daikin furnace from Weiss Johnson. We know how important a good furnace is in Edmonton, so don't procrastinate as this is a limited time offer. Visit wjheats.com today.
What does 3 decades of perfecting your craft look like? Ask the guys at Leduc Goldsmiths, locally run and bringing you nothing but quality work and service. Built from the ground up through family, from generation to generation, uncle to nephew, father to son. The pride in their family jewelry store is the pride you take home, bringing you custom and repair work. But it's their face-to-face service that keeps you coming back. Leduc Goldsmiths on Main Street, Leduc. Leduc's jewelry store, family owned and operated for over 30 years.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, the clear choice for all your auto, residential, and commercial glass. Call 310-GLASS or book now at crystalglass.ca.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday rolling through the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube. You can join us audio, visual, or both. You make the choice. Stream us, of course, online. If you like it, sports1440.ca. Get the app. You can do it at Stingray, iHeartRadio, or the Radio Player app. It is your choice. It sounds crystal clear when you're there. So I like it. Hey, guys, I'm 60 years old now. I'm hard-pressed to eat a 6-ounce steak from Walter. Touche, Walter. Touche. But you might want to give it a run. You never know. But probably wouldn't feel good the next day. The Gregor Show, as always, is presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And guess what? It's Friday night. It's Positive Friday. How about this? $27 million in Lotto Max. You can get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca, where all of the revenue, 100%, stays right here in the province of Alberta. Let's PlayAlberta.ca. As we welcome in our regular Friday co-host, Wanye Gretz. Wanye, how are you?
What was going on in here? There's food. You had
40-ounce steak, buddy. We got some over
you
there.
ate a 40-ounce steak on a
Of course,
Friday?
I didn't. No. But at the brew house, every brew house in the country tomorrow, all helping out the Alberta farmers, 40-ounce steak for $49.99.
What a deal.
And somebody's going to win a $10,000 smoker. Could you crush a 40? You could eat a 40 ounce. Like, you're a pretty big eater, aren't you?
Gun to my head, I could make it happen.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be an everyday trick, but if it was a feat of strength, since people were impressed, I'd do it.
Yeah. You could be like John Canny, just sitting there slowly cutting it through and all the
Work
great
your way
outdoors.
through. Have you ever eaten a comically large steak?
No, I'm not. It's like I'm not a huge eater. I've never been like I can eat a lot type of guy.
Don't you put on a pizza fest?
Yeah, pizza pig out.
Could
But
you eat a pizza? You can pizza pig out, but you can't eat a 40-ounce steak?
no, like
For
a 40,
charity?
a 40-ounce steak. No, honestly, I'm telling you, I couldn't do it. And at the pizza pig out, I don't go in the pizza eating contest because I would lose. I would suck. I'm
You
not good at that.
facilitate the pizza pig out.
Yeah, the pizza pig out's more, but I do eat a lot of pizza there. I will say I tried a lot of different pizzas, but thin crust pizza compared to a steak, like, come on.
There isn't a more dense food to try to overeat than a steak.
No, but it's so good, man. And I like what Patty said. Like, do not get, this is like nothing more than medium at the most. I would even, you don't want well done. You're ruining it. You're ruining it.
A 48-ounce steak you'd take home the next day. Steak and eggs in the morning.
Oh, yes.
2-day deal.
See, I never had steak and eggs in the morning. I tried it once. I didn't like it. It's too, like, a steak to me is like a dinner. I want steak for dinner. I've even had it for lunch, but breakfast, I respect those who do it. I couldn't do it. I didn't like it. It was too filling.
We're like two ships passing in the night. You've never used a delivery app to bring food to your house.
That's
You're not
true.
eating steak.
Hey,
48-ounce steak.
I like to support the local businesses because they're getting ripped off. The amount that they have to pay for that. Like, good for the people that work there, but hey, I support the company themselves, the guys who make the food. So you know what? I will go pick it up myself. Or I go to their website because there are some companies who still just deliver themselves. That's what I do. It's a one man's thing. It's not a big crusade. You know what? You want to use your apps? Doesn't bother me. I'm not against it. I don't do it. I also don't have Uber on my phone. So I'm still old school, like taxi.
That's crazy. Taxi?
Yeah. But I really, the one I probably use the most is Keys Please. Because if I'm downtown and I want a few drinks, then they take my car home with me. It's perfect. It's unbelievable.
Uber is one of the better inventions of the modern age, I think.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
back in the day, you'd leave the bar and there was like two taxis for 10,000 people?
Dude, most people, if you were circa in the 90s, even early 2000s, you remember vividly coming out of the bar on White Avenue and then either running past Iron Horse to go down east because that's where you'd be the first one to get
Smart.
the cab.
That's a veteran play.
Or you'd go the other end if you were at O'Byrne's and you'd go west because you were hoping to get a cab that way.
I can remember taxis coming down White Ave in blizzards and them being attacked by people like World War Z zombies.
Yeah,
and there's 20 people for every taxi. And you're like, is anyone ever going to fix this?
Like,
Uber didn't come out though till like mid-10s.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But yeah, it's made it. I would assume now when you go out on New Year's, even though I hear that Uber kind of rips you off and they really up the price.
100%.
But at least you can get one. A lot easier than get a cab. Because half the battle of people on New Year's was like, well, you better plan ahead. We're going to have to, somebody's got to be the DD for sure.
Yeah.
Or, we're playing to God that we're not going to freeze to death while you wait outside.
I can legitimately remember being outside bars on White Avenue being like, I don't know what the next move is because I've been outside the bar for an hour and there's no taxi coming and it's minus 25. We used to take our lives in our hands.
Hey, Connor, Adam's here with the hat. So you can go, Adam's going to get some socks and a hat. We're helping out. It's Socktober. So people are bringing by new warm winter socks, 2 packs of them. And then we're making a trade. They bring it, we donate it, and then they get a hat.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here today.
Yeah,
Steaks and hats and socks.
And hats, yeah. And Janmark's on the second line.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I thought you'd be excited about that. I know you're Matthias Janmark's
We are
biggest
off
fan.
to a slow start.
Mm-hmm. Dude.
Uh-oh. That's the solution?
Well, honestly, I'm perplexed why Janmark. So for anybody who's just joining us, the lines of practice today were Hyman, Draisaitl, McDavid, then Nugent Hopkins, Fogle, and Janmark, Kane, Brown, and McLeod, and then Holloway was the fourth line center with Ryan and Ernie. I've actually liked Holloway's game. I think Holloway's, now I know he hasn't produced, but he's not getting outshot. He's not getting outscored. Well, he's getting outscored. They're all getting outscored 5-on-5, except I think there's maybe 2 or 3 players who were, I think maybe it might be, let me look it up. I think maybe Holloway and McLeod are the only 2 guys who haven't been outscored 5-on-5. Maybe it's them. No, sorry, it's Nuge and Draisaitl.
Okay.
They're 4 goals for, 3 goals against, 5-on-5. But I know Holloway hasn't produced, but I've actually liked his game. If I was moving anybody up, I would have moved Holloway up on the second line wing and just kept the fourth line together. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe this is one of Jay Woodcroft's little games that he likes to play and run different lines at practice. Then he has different lines in the game. But something would tell me when you're 1-3, you're not doing that, or you shouldn't be doing that. You practice the lines you want. So maybe he's going to say, okay, Nugent Hopkins, Fogle, and Janmark, you're going to be our defensive line. Maybe that's a strategy. We'll see. We'll have to see. But other than that, it's a little surprising to me. More surprising is how lethargic the Oilers have been in the third period. Like, they were here very early. They were here in the captain skates, skating all the time. They don't have 1 goal in the third period. And by the way, they've trailed in 3 of those games. So you should be a little bit more desperate in the third, and they got goose eggs across the board.
And they were scoring in the third period like crazy last year.
Yeah. Well, they're the highest scoring team.
Avalanche.
Highest scoring team in the first period, I think, and the second period, and something like 4th or something in the third period. So, they scored a lot of goals last year. And it's early. It's only 4 games, but you can't. Well, if it's only 4 games, then all of a sudden it's only 6 games, and then it's only 8 games. And like I said, I don't believe it's cause for concern to miss the playoffs. I think it's cause for concern to miss home ice advantage outside of the second round or first round, and that's the problem. They lost to Colorado. They lost to Vegas. Those 2 teams have both been very good at home ice. And if you think you're going to finish second in the Pacific, then that means you have to feel, okay, to win the cup, we're going to have to win on the road in Vegas. We're going to have to win on the road in Colorado unless those teams get upset. It's just not an ideal plan.
No, I agree. I don't think that 1-3 is the start we were looking for, and we all got our crystal balls out to start the year. I have to tone down my 10-3 predictions and stuff like that to something a little bit more
reasonable. Get a little bit more realistic.
A little more
here.
in the ballpark.
Yeah. So try to score a few goals. So we'll see. Hey, guys, I've been to every 40-ounce steak night at the brew house since they started doing them. It's honestly not that difficult. The hardest part is the sore jaw from chewing from JC Glazer. Whew.
How many 40-ounce steaks have you had, JC? And how many of them were brewhouse steak night?
Well, they've done it now for 8. This will be the 8th year, so I'm going to guess he's had at least 7. Well, I know that's not true because the first few years they were 32-ouncers. Now they've upped the game. Now they're 40.
Inflation.
No, they just wanted to have bigger steak, make it a little bit more fun.
There's no way, though, JC's only eating 40-ounce steaks at one restaurant chain. He's probably training at home. He's got a secondary chain he goes to. Do you have to train,
or you just tell yourself, you know what, I got 4 hours or however long? Like, I'd be curious, how long does it take? That's the other question. Like, does the steak get cold? Like, can you send it back? Say, hey, guys, I'm halfway done. Can you go reheat it, put it on the heat lamp? Or does it get a little cold by the end?
I think you're getting cold.
Yeah, that's my question. See, well, the orders of hey guys, speaking of 40 ounces, the orders have laid a few of those. Hey, touche, Dave. Touche. I know what you're saying. Hey guys, incredibly fast. Liam Foodie's on waivers. Do you think he's a fit in Edmonton? From Rockford. I will say this about Liam Foodie. Can he skate? Yes. What else is he going to do? He, for some reason, is getting waived on a Columbus team that isn't that deep of a team. So I've talked to a few people in Columbus, and I asked a few scouts, hey, you know what? Because this guy's an 18th overall pick a few years ago. He's 6'2", and you're right, he can fly, but there hasn't been a lot else going on. Scout told me, like, last year was the most games he's played in his pro career at 62. He's battled some injuries. That's been a factor. And you know what? Maybe he just needs to spend a full year in the American League, get some confidence, because, this guy was a scorer. He's drafted in the first round. You expect him to produce some points. I know not every first rounder becomes a top 6 player, but you got to be able to produce at least as a point-a-game player in the minors, and he's not even that. So I'll say this. I would be surprised if the Oilers claimed him. And I might be surprised if anybody claims him, based on the scouting reports I've had from a few people suggesting that, right now it's a pretty deep project to put on your roster. So I know, and lots of us love the waiver wire, but remember, like 95% of players on the waiver wire either don't get claimed or don't become the player you hope they could be based on what they've done many years ago.
They're there for a reason. In many instances,
100%.
They're there for a reason.
Yeah. 100%. Hey guys, scoring's not their problem. Just ask them from the Shanked one. Well, 5-on-5 scoring has been their problem. They've only got 6 5-on-5 goals so far. Now, historically, scoring isn't their problem. And if there's one element of their game that I think the Oilers will improve, it'll be their scoring. But we can't pretend that scoring's been great thus far. They scored 1 goal in the first game. They scored 1 goal they had 6 in 1 game against Nashville. But it's Nashville for whatever reason. They beat up on Nashville for fun. But in their other 3 games, they have a combined 5 goals. So less than 2 goals a game. So I would say in 75% of your games, when you're not even a 2-goal-a-game team, offense, not great right now. So, hey, Gregor, any idea why you think Woodcroft is demoting Holloway? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I think Holloway's played well. Now, here's the only thing is he's moving him to center because he looks at it. Yeah, okay, you're going down a line. I'm going to be curious about his minutes played. That's what I'm going to look at. Maybe they see, hey, we want Holloway to inject some speed the way he's been playing. Maybe we look at he can be a mismatch against Winnipeg's fourth line, right? That's the only thing I can think of because, they're going to say, well, Janmark, he's more defensive responsibly. So Nugent Hopkins, Janmark, and Foegele, they're going to get a lot of D-zone starts. I'm trying to rationalize why the coach would do it. That's the only sane thing I can think of. Because you cannot tell me the Matthias Janmark's play is like, hey, you know what? We're going to put him in the top 6 because we think he's going to add some offense for us. He's got 1 shot on goal. Sorry. That can't be the reasoning. It's got to be they're going to counter. He's got last change. He's going to want them in a defensive role. It's the only thing I can think of.
It's game 4 and he's dropping F-bombs. Where do we go from here, Coach Woody?
Now, did you laugh when you heard him drop?
Of course,
because it's kind of like when you hear your
swears
parent,
are funny.
When your parent swears for the first time,
yes.
or not even for the first time, but maybe when you're like 16 or 17, and all of a sudden you're out working, and all of a sudden your mom drops like 3 or 4, and you're just like, "What is happening?" Right? Like it's quite funny. Yeah. And Jay Woodcroft's not that guy, and even in the tone that he said it, he wasn't that mad, which shows because as anybody who's either a parent themselves, right? It's like. Calm on the outside, fuming on the inside. You know what, little Jimmy? And then you drop one. That's when the kids, ooh, okay, I might have crossed. Like when your parents used to just grab the wooden spoon and just pull it out of the jar.
Just rattle the drawer a little bit.
Ooh, all of a sudden you get your attention. So, and that's great that Woodcroft says this, but I think the next move for Woodcroft has to be
the spoon.
No, well, ice time. It's got to be ice time. You can't just keep saying, okay, guys, there's no consequences if you're having an off night. Nate Schmidt, $5.9 million defenseman, healthy scratched, right? Timo Meier just signed a huge contract in New Jersey, sent for the bench for the 3rd period. Damon Severson, brand new contract in Columbus, benched after a bad giveaway. Like at some point, Woodcroft, and it can't be, I'm going to bench Adam Ernie. Oh, well, Vincent Desharnais. Ooh, that's really sending a message. Like, it's going to have to be, if Bouchard has another major gaffe, if Evander Kane isn't ready, you know what? Hey, sit him down. Now, you choose if it wants to be 10 minutes, if you want to be a period, whatever. But at some point, you've got to do something to get their attention. It can't just be words. Because that's all you have. Every coach I've ever talked to. The one thing you have that you can really motivate your players with is ice time. You take their ice time away, because you'll give them warnings, but then eventually it's got to be like, put up or shut up. Or sit down, I guess. Put up or sit down would probably be the better analogy there. So I think that's the next move for Woodcroft, is it not?
It's going to have to do something. It's not going to be Janmark in the second line that it's going to shuffle the deck.
Yeah. No, I would agree wholeheartedly. When we come back, Craig Button will join us on a Positive Friday. Lots of text flying in our Jiffy Lube inbox, 833-401-1440. This one from Paul. I want to read it quick. Hey, guys, this team usually goes dark in December. It leaves November for them to gain ground. It's not just a slow start that's a problem. Well, Paul, that would be brutal if they had the slow start and then, got hot and then had their December swoon. But this year is different. If you look at the Oilers schedule, the first 2 weeks of December, they're at home the entire 2 weeks. And that has not happened before. So
we're 11 days to Halloween. The panic is on 10. It's great.
Hey, I'm not panicking.
Not you specifically, but the rest of our dear Oilers fans.
And I think it's valid for the Oilers fans to be concerned. And I'm saying, if the goal is to win a Stanley Cup, and there's no guarantees, but if the goal is to win a Stanley Cup, you want to give yourself the best opportunity. Is that fair?
Fair.
So the best opportunity historically has been home ice advantage. It's a fact. Now, yes, the LA Kings, don't text in, hey, the Kings finished 8th. Yeah, okay. Exceptions to the rule. All right. Blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. It happens. All right. So overall, though, the teams who are good at home, the higher seeded teams, they stay at home, they win the games. And home ice advantage, the later on in the playoffs, historically matters more. It's been proven. First round, yeah, it's a little bit dicey. You get out of the first round, now you got home ice advantage, it's better. So we'll see if the Oilers, it's early, but they're already 8 back of Vegas, 6 back of Colorado.
We're already 8 back of Vegas.
Yeah, they're undefeated. They're 5-0.
Oh, no.
So there you go. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
With sporting group events returning, are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
At Fountain Tire, save big during our Road Ready sales event until October 21st. Who wouldn't want up to 25% on select tires and a bonus of $50 off any service? A lizard, maybe? Or a ghost? Restrictions apply. Financing available. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
What you eating there?
Oh, just a Leon's $10,000 shopping spree in a Chevy Colorado.
How do you plan to get all that from a Big Mac?
Monopoly Double Play.
Monopoly Double Play?
First, I peel on pack, then I peel an app. 2 ways to play and win.
So basically, you're potentially holding the most lucrative Big Mac ever?
No, I'm potentially eating the most lucrative Big Mac ever.
Now you can double play at McDonald's for more ways to win millions of prizes. While supplies last, chances of winning change as prizes are claimed. Chances of winning McD's app prizes based on time of code entry. See rules at participating McDonald's in Canada or at mcdpromotion.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 place for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle and get both with a heat pump. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, so the vents stop pushing out tornadoes. Time for a heat pump, bring it to me! Gonna get a deal from Legacy! Your heat pump from Legacy will heat and cool while saving you a bundle in energy costs. Plus, you'll get a rebate up to $5,000 and no payments, no interest for 1 year. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Drive into fall with some sweet savings at Cross Mitsubishi. Right now, get the best rate in the country, 1.99% on select Mitsubishis. And to make things even better, get up to $1,800 in free accessories or no payments for 6 months, and Cross will take care of your first 3 payments. Plus, get a trade-in bonus for $2,000 and free winter tires on all new Mitsubishis. Find these great deals and so many more at Cross Mitsubishi, 34th Avenue and 96th Street, or cross with a K, Mitsubishi.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We've continued developing tools and are excited to announce our newest design, battery-powered nut runners. 4 models from 500 to 3,000 foot-pounds with more on the way. Learn more at Cantork.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
A little brass bonanza for you on a positive Friday. How are you? Jason Gregor, Wanye Gretz, Connor Halley with you. See Declan Kruger really try to put a big dent in the old 40-ounce steak over there. So we'll give a little update later on. See how he's doing.
It's like watching Michael Phelps swim. He's a pro. Knows what he's doing.
He's liking it. Very good. And I think the key is get mix a little steak sauce in there, get a little lubrication in it for sure. Let's go around the NHL now, brought to you by McDonald's. And one of your favorite games ever is back, baby. Monopoly. And now with more chances to win than ever. Of course, you can peel on the pack, then you can peel on the app. Boom. Double your chances. Lots of opportunities to win. All the rules are at mcdpromotion.ca. mcdpromotion.ca. We're still waiting. We've had conversations with chat now about bringing back the McPizza.
You know somebody who could bring back the McPizza?
We've had conversations because, and I went through the whole thing, like having the ovens in each location was very expensive.
Yes.
And so I've been working on convincing him to say, just pick one location. And that's the only location that has the pizza.
They don't have the latitude to make these decisions, do they? To bring back the McPizza?
These are the conversations.
You got to go the big man for that, Ronald McDonald himself.
Well, did you know that the international head of McDonald's did a tour in Edmonton last month? And I'm like, no joke, man. They have like armored cars when he comes in. I'm not even joking. Oh yeah, because there's mean threats and stuff before. And
was it Wendy? Was Wendy threatening McDonald's?
No. He came in and he toured one of the Edmonton locations. And it got a rave review.
Huh.
So we'll see. So it's one of those things. If you want to, if anytime you go in, talk to managers, say, hey, McPizza, is it coming back? I think we could get a few locations with it.
I can remember McPizza. I can remember eating it at the McDonald's in West Edmonton Mall.
Oh, so good. So good. Now, our next guest, when you're an experienced pickleballer, probably never tried a McPizza. Maybe he has or not. Craig Button from TSN joins us. Butts, how you doing?
I've tried McPizza. I like McPizza. I thought it was a pretty good idea. You know what I love the best about McPizza is on the Z, they use the arches. They use the MM to say PIZZA. It was really cool. Now, 48-ounce steak, you were talking about Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps in his heyday, he used to eat 8,000 calories a day. A 48-ounce steak would be just an appetizer for Michael Phelps when he was competing.
Oh,
so think about that, 8,000 calories a day.
What are your meals made of at that level?
Oh, God. It's a lot of eggs, man. A lot of something.
Eggs, whatever the protein, but you need carbs. I mean, when you were swimming like he did with that body, I mean, you had to load up, and he did. So, you know what? 48 ounces to Michael Phelps, nothing.
Craig, you know what? There's a few teams here. It's been a very unique season. Right now, did you know? Here's a fun little stat for you. The 8 leaders in most goals against so far are all teams who made the playoffs last year. LA, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Carolina, Seattle. Like, it's hilarious. It's early on in the season, but the 8 worst teams with the most goals against were all 8 playoff teams last year. I get that it's early on, but we can say it's early as one thing, and I don't think it's panic yet for the playoffs for Edmonton. But if you dig too deep of a hole like we saw last year with Vegas, then you can make the playoffs and you can have a really good season of 109 points, but then you still don't have home ice advantage. And if you're Edmonton, Craig, and if you don't have home ice advantage outside of the first round, that means you have to go to win in Vegas and Colorado. Not impossible, but way harder. And that's what the slow start can hurt you. Not making the playoffs, it can really damage your chances of a cup, because now you're going to have to be a road team in rounds 2, 3, and 4.
Well, and absolutely, that's the way you got to look at it. So you consider part of the challenge here, and I think there might be 5 teams that were in the playoffs last year that aren't this year. Yeah. And just by what's happened over the last number of years. Anyway, we'll wait and see on that. But when you're looking, and I think the Pacific Division is the hardest division in the National Hockey League. Vegas and Edmonton and LA Kings and Seattle made the playoffs last year, and Calgary just missed the playoffs. And and you had Vancouver making the playoffs. You know what? I'm going to bet you right now. I'll take you out for any type of pizza you want, anywhere you want. if the Vancouver Canucks make the playoffs. Okay, that's what I'll do. Okay, and I know lots of good pizza places, and if Big Pizza is not bad. That being said, if you're now finishing first place in your division in the Pacific is a massive benefit and a massive bonus. And you're right, it's not impossible, but you want to give yourself every advantage. The road to the Stanley Cup is a hard road. So it's not that like there's one path that's easy, but you want to give yourself a path that could be just a little bit less challenging. And not having home ice in 2 consecutive rounds, that's hard to do. And I think that the Oilers, and with the expectations that they have for themselves, being a Stanley Cup contender, their defensive play at even strength is terrible. It's terrible. And and until they clean that up, it's not going to produce wins. And we know they can score. And Connor McDavid, I think it's very clear. Connor McDavid is interested in one thing. What do we have to do as a team to compete for a Stanley Cup? He's got every single accolade, every single trophy that that you would expect him to have, and now his focus is on the cup. That's where it's at, and the Oilers have to dial into those details if they want to be serious about competing for the cup.
When you look at their defensive play, Craig, I know everybody's talking about the system. Like, there's not many systems in the NHL. And I get that maybe you're not 100%, so maybe your reaction time, you're thinking a little bit more than reacting. But the Oilers have given up so many goals off the rush and so many scoring chances off the rush. That's not their defensive system. What are you seeing when you watch them that is so egregious in the defensive zone, specifically because right now it's like open season. Here you go. You can shoot from the slot. The Oilers getting absolutely murdered in giving up chances from the slot.
Yeah, so let me just go back, Jason, quickly to your comment about rush chances against and turnover chances against. Defensive play isn't just in your own zone. You know, how you play defense starts in the offensive zone. Are you going to be loose with the puck? Are you going to make hope plays? Are you going to start the other team's breakout? Are you going to make lateral plays at the blue line where it leads to transition? NHL teams are too good now. They're looking for transition, and at a snap of the finger, they're in transition. So when I look at, and is there any better example than the 2-on-0 they gave up last week against the Vancouver Canucks? 2-on-0. I mean, that all start in the offensive zone. So defensive problems don't just start in your defensive zone. They also start before that. And I don't think they've been very good, as you just pointed out, with the rush chances against. Then you get into your defensive zone, and, you talk about systems of team play. And I agree with you. I mean, everybody talk about the system. They got to get used to the system. No, you know what you got to do? You got to do what's hard. And it's hard to sprint to position and be in the right position. It's hard to compete on pucks. That's what winning hockey is about. And the Oilers aren't doing that. They're not getting in a good position. They're chasing back in the defensive zone. They're giving up the middle of the ice because they're not hard where you need to be hard. And you don't have to chase outside the dots. Play inside the dots. Play into the middle of the ice. But you want to start chasing and being loose, you're going to run into all kinds of problems. And the Oilers have been poster players for doing that this year early in the season.
Craig Button joins us on Sports 1440. It's the Jason Gregor Show, Positive Friday edition. Craig, other teams around the league, the Carolina Hurricanes are stunning to me that they lead the league in goals against. Now, they're scoring a lot of goals, so they're 3-2, right? So they're getting by. And it's not because they're playing terrible defense. They haven't given up a ton of shots for the most part, except their last game. But Freddie Anderson, Ranta gets pulled last night in Seattle. Those two have been horrific just in goal alone, and they've got injury issues. And I was looking at the last 3 years, Craig, and it's just been a steady decline for them. How concerned are you about the goaltender? Do you think Kochetkov is now going to they're just going to have to hand him the ball and say, run with it, kid?
You run into a scenario, and Freddie Anderson, has been solid. Ranta, I mean, he's had injuries and he's just not the same goaltender. I think at some point in time, they have to put a stake in the ground. They haven't been able to achieve what they wanted to achieve with Freddie Anderson. The Toronto Maple Leafs weren't either. And I'm not here to blame Freddie Anderson. I think that when you see some of the goals that are going in fact, when you see a lot of the goals that are going in, you need better goaltending than that. And, if Kochetkov is still unproven, that's okay. Let's see what he can do. I don't think there's any question the Carolina Hurricanes are going to make the playoffs, but this becomes now a scenario where you can test your goaltender, test where he's at, and then see what you have when it gets to come to important times. And I think that's where the Carolina Hurricanes find themselves. And I think the quicker they get to Kochetkov playing on a regular basis in the net, the more confident they can be in number one in that, in him as a goaltender, or maybe having to explore other options.
In Toronto, Matthews had back-to-back hat tricks and everyone's excited, but their team defense, same thing there. TJ Brody, it's early, Craig, but man, TJ Brody's game, like I wonder, Brad Treliving, this guy, is he going to have to do a Ken Holland-like trade at the deadline and find a Matthias Ekholm? Like, is that the obvious thing, or do you see other issues in Toronto?
Well, I see. I'll get to the other issue in a second, and I think it's a big issue. But here's the issue with the blue line. And yeah, I'm going to answer yes to your question about Brad Treliving. I look at a blue line with Mark Giordano, TJ Brody, Timothy Liljegren, and Jake McCabe, and I say good luck winning a Stanley Cup. Good luck. To me, you're not winning a Stanley Cup when you get up against good teams. No, not happening. Not with those four defensemen on your team. So I think that Brad Treliving has to evaluate what he can bring into his organization, how he strengthens and bolsters that blue line. But with that quartet on your blue line playing, I see no way that they compete for a Stanley Cup. Now, I think one of the bigger issues, and I think it showed up again in their game versus Florida on Thursday. William Nylander gets drilled from behind by Kulikov. Crickets. There wasn't one response by anybody on the Toronto Maple Leafs. They got pushed around last year by the Florida Panthers. They get pushed around again in the game versus Florida last night. I go back to the Vegas game this year in the preseason when Hayden Hodgson ran Mark Stone, Pietrangelo, Howden, Martinez. Not happening here. And you think about it, and you think about the opening game of the season. Ryan Reeves runs Caden Goulet. Who's right there? Arbor Jacki. Right there. No hesitation. Not happening on our watch. The Toronto Maple Leafs are not hard. They get pushed around, and until they stand up for themselves and say, you're not going to push this around. I'm not talking about dropping your gloves. I'm not talking about having to fight every time. It's about saying, we are going to stand up for ourselves. We're all in it together. We're going to push through resistance. And ironically, coincidentally, the president of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Brendan Shanahan, in March of 1997, the Red Wings found themselves in that spot. They'd been pushed around by the New Jersey Devils in 95 in the final. They got to the final. And then they got pushed around by the Colorado Avalanche. And in March of 1997, the Red Wings said, not happening anymore. They went and won the Cup that year and the subsequent year. Until the Toronto Maple Leafs do that, I can tell you right now, they will never show up on my list of a team to win the Stanley Cup.
What have you made of Tampa without Vasilevsky? Kind of what you expected?
Yeah. And okay, so you lose Vasilevsky, right? So let's argue. Let's say he's the best goalie in the league. It doesn't always, to be the best goalie in the league doesn't mean I always have to numbers. Yes. But I think he's the best goalie in the league.
Fair.
They've had a talent drain in there, Jason. They lost Gord, Goodrow, Coleman, Palat, Killorn, McDonough, and Ruta. 7 players that are instrumental, strong players in 3 straight Stanley Cup appearances, including 2 Stanley Cups. And you replace them with bodies? No way. There is no way a team can still perform at the same level when you have that type of talent drain. And I think now you take Vasilevsky out of it, who can mask some of your issues. And I think the challenge just becomes greater. And, we know how good their top players are. We know how good John Cooper is as a coach, but you can't have that type of talent drain and expect to remain a team that's at the top of the heap in the national. I don't even think you can be near the top of the heap with that type of talent drain.
One last one for you, Greg. We've seen it around the league. We've seen coaches. Heck, Nate Schmidt got sat healthy scratch for an entire game. Timo Meyer, Lindy Ruff benched him in the third period. Columbus head coach Ken Johnson got sat out first game, and then their new defenseman gets benched after a terrible giveaway. Coaches always talk about that's really the one thing they have is ice time, right? I look at the Edmonton Oilers, and it's early, Craig. And you've been a GM, you talk to the coach all the time. The Oilers have had some guys here that have had lackluster starts. At what point do you think, and I don't think it's too early if I look around the league, you talk about toughness. Does there need to be a little bit more tough love here in Edmonton? Is Jay Woodcroft at the point here? He's dropping F-bombs, so he's obviously not happy with his team in the post-game presser. Is now the time to maybe, and I'm not talking Vincent DeHarnay or Adam Ernie. I'm talking a significant player, if they're not going, that has their ice time reduced. Is now the time to do it?
I think coaches have to hold the team accountable. You want to play a certain way, you got to hold players accountable. I don't think that should have ever changed. I think that players have to look at the situation and be accountable themselves. You just have to be fair and balanced. You have to go to players. You have to be able to go and say, okay, here's what I need from you. Dale Hunter, a couple of years back when he was in Washington, Mike Knuble wasn't playing very well. Dale brought him in. He said, Mike, I need more from you. So depending on what who the player is and who it isn't, you're not just blindsiding them. Anyway, he's talking to Mike. Mike wasn't responding. I mean, maybe he wasn't capable of responding. Dale said, you better get going here, or I'm going to have to do it. He didn't, and he sat him out. And I think as a coach, you have to be clear in your communication with what you're expecting. You have to hold the players to those expectations. And if they're not holding their end of the bargain, sorry, that's we're going to find a different solution. And that might be for 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, and whatever it may be. But that's the way it has to be. And you want to play more, play better.
100%. Craig, great stuff, my man. Have yourself an awesome weekend, and we will chat with you next Friday.
You remember our bet, right?
Oh, hey, sure, buddy. Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Have you watched the Vancouver Canucks this year?
Hey, dude,
they have the same problems they had every other year.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You mentioned pizza, and I'm like, yeah, right now, Tyler Myers could be a delivery boy for a pizza chain because he's been serving up a lot of them.
Line of the day. I'll depart on that.
There
Last
you go.
word
That
to
is,
you. See ya.
Craig Button from TSN. Like Canuck fans, they were all giddy about the 2 games against the Oilers, but like the few games on the road trip, Tyler Myers was brutal. Like Oiler fans, to put it in perspective, Evan Bouchard times about 3 or 4, because Bouchard's had a few tough games, right? He's had a few. Let's be honest. He can play better. He's had a few tough games. Early, coach is stuck with him, but at some point, got to get a little bit more urgency. Now, Bouchard's better than Myers is right now. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm trying to give it perspective for those who haven't seen it. We'll come back with 5 questions and more on the Positive Friday edition of the Gregor Show on Sports 1440, live on Oilers Nation YouTube, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is sounding the call. Don't struggle through winter with a furnace you can't trust. For maintenance before winter strikes,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
for furnace tune-ups and repairs to give peace of mind.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or to scrap your old furnace for a brand new high-efficiency one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
And with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your new furnace, it's gotta be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Vincent Pearson at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
The Canadian Boo House is back with its frightfully delightful with fun foolery and the finest Halloween hijinks. Boo House GCs to be won. $100, $250, even $500 as we ignite your fright night with shot specials of Jack Daniels and $1.50 off tankards of Blue Moon. Plus, freakishly delicious newfangled Frankendangle, only $5.99 all night long. The Boo Crew awaits you at your favorite haunt, the Canadian Brew House.
Rodeo clowning felt like an exciting opportunity. Boy, was I ever wrong. The bulls. So predictable. But you know what's exciting and unpredictable? PlayAlberta.ca. I can bet on any sports game, play online casino games anytime, and buy lottery tickets anywhere.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today and get over $100 in welcome bonuses. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
How exciting is it to have Sports Talk Radio back in Edmonton?
Tie game, bottom of the ninth with a full count. The kick, the pitch. It's high. It's far. It is gone. Walk-off home run.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that. Edmonton Kubota is excited to welcome back Sports Talk Radio Sports 1440. We'll be dialed in for every minute. Get it done and then some at Edmonton Kubota. All compact BX tractors on sale with 0% financing for 84 months. Stop by on 128th Ave or visit edmontonkubota.com.
Christensen Communities, the name of active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
You'll absolutely love the new and app-approved Booster Juice app. Download it today and start earning berry points for app-amazing rewards. Apply your points for all of your Booster Juice favorites for free. From booster balls to smoothies, snacks, and combo deals, even digital gift cards. Plus, receive personalized offers that appeal directly to you. The new and app-approved Booster Juice app. More than just online ordering. Download it today. Details at boosterjuice.com.
Every Albertan wants a strong and secure retirement. We all want to make the most of it. That's why Alberta's government is exploring a new possibility, an Alberta pension plan. You might be wondering what's in it for you. The new plan could mean higher benefits for seniors and bigger paychecks for workers. As we explore this opportunity together, Alberta's government wants to hear from you. It's your pension, your choice. Learn more and have your say at albertapensionplan.ca. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. From LED lighting audits and retrofits to design-built distribution systems, eWell Services can give you the edge you need to impress your clients. EWEL.ca.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Little extra brass for you on a lovely Friday as you make your way home. Drive safe. Be patient. Hey, good news. You can just listen to the show now if you're stuck in traffic. Something you couldn't do back in the summer. You missed it. So, hey, I know the Oilers are losing right now. You're a little frustrated. You're an Elks fan. You're like, oh, season's finally over. Our final game tomorrow. See what they do. The last time they played the Bombers, it was competitive until the Bombers kind of turned things on. So we'll see how the Elks handle their final game of the season. I still think it's an addition for a pretty young group of players. So find out how many of them will be coming back next year. And then we'll get into the offseason, because the biggest offseason about the Elks is Chris Jones going to come back as the GM, the head coach, and the defensive coordinator. If he does, I think it's going to be a challenge to see significant improvement. I just think it's difficult. I don't think there's enough hours in the day to do all three jobs effectively. So Chris Jones, if you look at his track record of a head coach when he's just a head coach is way better. Now, do I think he would give up the GM job? Probably not, because that's the most secure one. So I don't know what they'll do, but that's the big topic of conversation for me in the offseason. Like, I'm sorry. The proof's in the pudding. You don't win when you're doing all those jobs. You just don't. So will the organization have the gonads to say make a choice? We'll see. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. And right now, ooh, baby, how about this? An extra 40% off savings right now in the Scratch and Save event. There's over $115,000 in saving in instant prizes to be won. Go to The Brick and thebrick.com. Good luck.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Early still. I'll start by saying that. But so far for the Oilers, I'd say underwhelming. Now, what has been the biggest problem for the team, in your opinion?
We got one goalie, Jack Campbell, sitting here with the goals against a 366. Stuart Skinner's coming in at 533. Those are very, very, very high numbers. Too high.
Yeah, right now, the number one issue for the Oilers is their inability to defend the slot. It has the last two games, shots from the slot, 39 against, 24. So 39 to 20. Basically 2-1 from the most dangerous area in the ice. Not good.
Question number 2. Seems like Evan Bouchard becoming a little bit of the whipping boy on social media. You've heard Dave Manson and Jay Woodcroft, though. What's the game plan for Bouchard going forward, and what would your message have been to him yesterday after the game?
That's a good one. Well, number one is, flush it, erase it, move on, and just become more assertive. Like the first Bouchard error is the one that I'm probably maybe more concerned about because that's his forte. Like that guy handling the puck. We've seen Evan Bouchard. You know what? It's that meme where there's the fire all around you. There's like, oh, nothing's wrong. But lots of times that's Bouchard. Puck's on his stick. Forward check. Oh, no problem. One little quick move and it's out. That's the strength of his game. For him to just botch that play, I don't think it's repeatable, right? Like him losing a battle, that's repeatable. Him maybe making the wrong read, cutting outside, leaving the middle of the ice open, probably is going to happen again. The other one is that should never happen. Like, I'm sorry, this is an NHL defenseman that's your bread and butter, just handling the puck with no one around you. That can't happen.
You got to flush it. Like what you're saying, there's not a lot of positives to take out of these first 4 games if you're Evan Bouchard. You just got to see how fast you can put that behind you.
Question number 3 for you guys. Reports Phil Kessel wants to get back into the NHL here at some point. Which team do you think would be the best fit for the Thrill?
I'll tell you who's not a good fit. When Gene Principe was trying to eat that hot dog and it fell on the floor, my first thought was Phil Kessel's not going to sign here. We don't know how to deal with hot dogs. As a hot dog a spokesperson, he's never going to sign with a team that's mistreating hot dogs live on TV.
Yeah,
he'll never come here.
Makes sense. Well, I don't see him a fit in Edmonton. So I know in Vegas he was a healthy scratch in the playoffs in the regular season. Like you look at Phil Kessel and you say, okay, what is Phil Kessel going to bring? Right? I'm not sure he has the skill anymore or the speed to be a top 6 player. He definitely is not an energy guy on your 4th line. So could he maybe help your 3rd line? Maybe. Right. Yeah. He's very well liked in the dressing room. He's a fun loving guy that way. So who's a good fit? And the thing is, does Phil want to sign with a bottom feeder team? Probably not. So honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I see a team that feels like they're competitive. Like I'll say this, maybe on the outside, the New York Islanders, they lost Zach Parise. Maybe them. Other than that, I'm not. Like, if it's true that Phil wants to play on a competitive team, then I think it's going to be difficult.
Question number 4. Christine Sinclair announcing she's done playing internationally after this season or this year. Who do you think will be the next face of the Canadian women's national team?
Well, that's huge cleats to fill. Let's just call a spade there right now. I'm going to say if I have to pick who has maybe the best chance, I'm going to go with Janine Becky. I think she probably has the best chance. And again, I don't know, like you're talking about the all-time leading scorer in women's soccer. Right? Like that it's not just, oh, hey, next person comes along, no big deal. Right? So like the fact that Edmonton fans somehow found a Connor McDavid, and it was many decades later after Wayne Gretzky, it's like Crosby and Lemieux. It's so freakishly rare. So I'll say Janine Becky, but I don't expect her to have to be on the level of Christine Sinclair.
Yeah, when someone of that magnitude retires, I think they just sort of cast a shadow for a long time. That's what I would guess would happen. It's going to be a long time until another Christine Sinclair comes along.
She's inspired, though. That's a great thing. Christine Sinclair, and there's girls on her team who've talked about it because she's almost 40, right? So you got to remember, there's lots of girls they've watched this for 15 years. They're now in their 25. They were 10, and they're like, oh my goodness, Christine Sinclair was 25. She's my hero. I want to be her. So she's really inspired. And so that's the good news is there's probably even another crop coming because they won the Olympics that all of a sudden will get more girls interested in the game and more girls playing. And when you have more of them, then your odds of finding one who could potentially be that good are a little bit higher. But that is no small task, man. I'll say this. I don't think whoever's the next face of Canadian soccer will end up being the all-time leader in women's goals.
Yeah, I think you're right with that one. And final question for you guys today, hypothetical Friday, and we're getting closer to Halloween, so we got to make it a little dark. If you were dropped into any horror movie, which do you think would be the worst one to be in?
I'm not good with the jump scares, Connor. You know what I mean? Those movies where all of a sudden something's happening and then something else happens and it pops out. I've been mocked numerous times by people who say that I'm entertained to watch a horror movie with because I'm generally more scared than the characters in the movie. So I'm just going to go with all horror movies. I would not be a good fit.
Well, you have to think. So we talking like, which would be the worst one to try to survive, right? That's at the end of the day what you want. So, I might go Bird Box. Like, I know it's not a horror, but like, think about it. Like, you're trying to survive. I don't think I'd be good in Bird Box, right? Like, you're blindfolded the whole time. You're not allowed to see it. And like, I don't know, like that got to be quiet. That wouldn't be good for me, right? Like, I'd probably be, that I wouldn't last very long. And hey, what? Dead. So
I'd also like to go on the record and say I don't want to be part of a human centipede. Just formally, for the record, no.
No?
Do you know what that is, Gregor?
I do not.
Probably for the best. Connor, you might want to not let him look that up.
Yeah.
What's the human centipede?
Good question. It's too close to Halloween to tell you the truth on the air.
Okay.
Just think of like a centipede with all the legs.
Think of all the legs.
A human version connecting people.
So we're all together? Yeah, but then you're
There's movies called Human Centipede. I didn't make this up, by the way. This is a legitimate horror.
Is it a horror movie or
it's
a
pretty horrible
movie? Yeah.
It's pretty horrible.
Okay, it's pretty horrible.
It's horror.
Okay. All right. I see it.
No for me. That's a
Cons,
no.
what about you?
I mean, Michael Myers in Halloween, guy is pretty relentless, right? So I think that would be a tough one. He just doesn't quit.
Yeah.
But I might go Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger in the dreams. How do you defend that? It'd be a tough one to be in. So I'm going Nightmare on Elm Street.
Count you out for the Human Centipede or what?
Yeah.
You're out? Okay.
That one, not the top of my list.
No, you're out. I get it.
Now, there's a few other ones because when Connor had sent this question out earlier, I was looking them up. It's a movie I'd never seen, but then I read the whole thing because they're like, a really hard movie to survive in would be Cube, the 1997 movie. And basically, trust me, I'd never seen it, so I'm looking at it. I looked it up. Like, this guy wakes up in a mysterious cube-shaped box, right? And then he enters this other room, and there's a thin wire mesh that slices him into cubes. Right? So then you're like, it just seems like the dumbest movie ever. But I'm like, yeah, that movie would be almost impossible. Like, you have to be patient, which I'm not good at, right? Moving slowly, not good at. So, like, there's certain movies where you have to know your personality type where you're just like, I'm not going to survive. Like Bird Box, no chance. Like, no chance. I'd be dead way too early. And so would Wanye. Like, hey, Wanye, be quiet. What?
Huh? Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, exactly. Done. So, Cons, well, we heard your answer.
Yeah, I thought Wanye would go Paranormal Activity if you don't like jump scares. I mean, they made a franchise.
I haven't seen these movies. My mind is uncluttered. I don't have nightmares because I don't watch horror movies.
Okay. Now this one's, hey guys, the Saw, because it's all torture.
No.
Yeah.
Who watches this for entertainment? Would-be serial killers. If you sit down for an afternoon, you're like, I watch Saw. What a wonderful day. Popcorn. I would like to take you to the police. I would like them to look into you. You have committed a crime at some point. You just have not been caught.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Saw one's good because what's your ability to handle torture?
Probably limited.
Yeah, well, I think most of us here, most of us listening, talking right now, I'm not sure our level of withstanding torture is going to be very high, right? Like, you think about, you can go, you get into the special forces, you get trained how not to give up information when you're being tortured, right? Like, they got to go through horrific things. None of us have been through that, right? Like, think about, like, what's the worst thing you've had to endure in your life that remotely resembles torture?
Probably the 2011 Oilers season.
Yeah. Now, I could say honestly, like, looking back in my life, I had a certain girlfriend who had like the very high pitched voice, and it was torture at times. Okay, I'll be honest. I was like, I'm out. I can't do it. It was like Seinfeld. I'm like, I can't do this. It's not working. Like, it was literally torture.
Like a squeak talker?
Just a squeak talk. Very high pitched.
Tough one to live
with.
So,
like, very nice girl.
Yeah.
Lots of fun, but I'm just like, I can't, like, when you're stuck at home and all of a sudden you're having this conversation, you're just like, after 20 minutes, I'm like, oh my goodness, like, give me some cotton balls. I got to plug my ears here. Like,
what if the internal voice in your head started talking like that to you?
It was too much.
It's too much.
It's too much. So
you did the right thing.
Yeah. Not good. So we'll see. Coming up after 5 o'clock, Speck will join us. He was front and center, getting the coach to drop F-bombs yesterday. Usually the F-bombs are directed at Speck, so this one wasn't. So, hey, how did that feel for him? We'll find out after the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Edmonton Kubota. Trust me, no screwing around there. They will make you feel much safer, much more comfortable. Stop in Edmonton Kubota right now, north of Yellowhead on 156th Street. You can get 0% financing for 84 months. 7 years. 84 months on all compact BX tractors. EdmontonKubota.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Off day for the Edmonton Oilers. They'll be back in action tomorrow, taking on the Winnipeg Jets. That one gets going just after 8 o'clock. 2 games on the ice tonight. Flames in Columbus. That gets going shortly. Then at 5:30, the Islanders up against the Devils. Week 20 in the CFL gets going tonight. Calgary in BC. Tomorrow, the Elks in Winnipeg at 5. And then at 2 o'clock, the Argos taking on the Riders. Major League Baseball playoffs. The Rangers up on the Astros 4-2. That's on the bottom of the 6th. That series is tied at 2 games apiece. And later tonight, Diamondbacks take on the Phillies. First pitch set for 6:07. Philadelphia on top in that one, 2-1. The face of women's soccer in Canada for the past 2 decades is hanging them up at the end of the year, as Christine Sinclair announced her retirement from the international level. In 322 appearances for Canada, Sinclair had 190 goals. She'll play 1 more year at the club level with the Portland Thorns. 7 games in the AJ tonight, including Spruce Grove hosting the Okotoks Oilers. Puck drop at 7 at the Grant Pier Arena. You can get your tickets at sprucegrovesaints.ca. As for the Golden Bears and Pandas, the football team's taking on the University of Winnipeg. Kickoff in about an hour. On the ice, the Bears have a home-and-home with the Dinos. They'll be at the Drake tonight. That one's starting just after 7. The Pandas will do the same tonight in Calgary, tomorrow at the Drake. That one also starting at 7. And down at the Saville Center, it's volleyball. Both teams taking on the Thompson River University Wolfpack. Men at 6. The Pandas get going at 7:30. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Alan Mitchell, the host of The Lowdown with Lowetide. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free Radio Player app and listen wherever you go.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Are you ready to light up your game like Edmonton lights up the ice? Then choose Ewell. Electrical Wholesalers Edmonton Limited offers lightning fast service. Just like your favorite forward, they deliver your electrical supplies in record time. Plus winning quality. They only stock the best. And don't forget about their all-star support. When it comes to customer service, they're the playmakers. So don't sit in the dark. Make the power play and visit Ewell today. Online at ewel.ca, where excellence in electrical meets the heart of hockey.
We've got your local sports covered all day. Fox Sports has you covered tonight, after 9, and all weekend long. Be sure to check out the incredible NFL coverage on Sunday. Often imitated, never duplicated. We're Sports 1440.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. United's annual Hockey Days sale is on now. Save up to 20% off on skates, 25% off on equipment, and 35% off on all Pro Stock sticks. United Sport and Cycle, your home of hockey for over 95 years.
Denim Ford's roots run deep in the history of Central Alberta. Like always, you can experience the same honest pricing and honest service that you've come to expect from all of us at Denim Ford for the past 65 years. Denim Ford is proud to be Canada's only 50-time President Award-winning dealership in customer satisfaction, treating every customer like family. Visit Denim Ford on the world-famous Wetaskiwin Auto Mile or from home at denimford.ca.
This is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Favorite us right now.
Powered by PlayAlberta.ca. If you gamble, use your game sense. Learn more at gamesense.ab.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, the clear choice for all your auto, residential, and commercial glass. Call 310 Glass or book now at crystalglass.ca.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, you know what? Certain times you should never ask questions. Like some things are better left unanswered. Gosh. Because I didn't know what the Human Centipede movie franchise was. So in the commercial break, I'm asking Wanye and Connor and Declan what it is, and then explain it to me. Now I just want to barf in my mouth. Like, oh my God, that is the worst. How could there even be a movie? Like, how long could it last? It's just,
it's a trilogy.
We got to
like Lord of
sew
the Rings.
someone else to it. Like, what? Who comes up with these ideas?
These were your 5 questions. You asked me what I wouldn't want to be in.
How do you even? Oh man, it's just the worst. Don't Google it. I'm telling you, you don't want to know. It's the worst. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 live in Oilers Nation YouTube. Seriously, don't Google it. I didn't Google it, but just the explanation was bad enough. Gross. The best part is text like, hey guys, it wouldn't be bad if you're the first one of the centipede. It would still be bad.
It's like the world's worst conga line.
Yeah. Well, worse than that. Yeah. There's very few things I can imagine. Like, that's just like a full-on torture. Ugh.
Can you imagine a 90-minute movie about that and then 2 sequels about the first one? What's wrong with people?
But how do they eat? That's my question.
What do they eat?
Yeah, well, exactly. Gross. Oh, man. Oh, okay. Anyway, let's get back on track. The Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta. Like, how many of you out there have actually watched that movie? Like, be honest. How many of you watched anything of the Human Centipede trilogy?
I'm going to look up the box office receipts while we work on this.
Yes, like, you know what? I'm going to guess out of the Sports 1440 audience, 1%. 1%. Most of you are like, no, not interested. Don't want to see it. It's Positive Friday. I'm going to think positive thoughts on this. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, you want to know what's positive? 27 mil. You can win it right now. Lottery tickets. You got games, single game betting. You got the odd boosts. Get it all at PlayAlberta.ca. As we welcome into the show for the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. They are hiring. Looking for a great company to work for? They got a lot of openings. Go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction. As we welcome to the show, Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. And Spec, now you've had a few guys tell you to bleep off before, but hey, last night you just get the coach to drop an F-bomb, not even directed at you, just subtly. Like, obviously, he's not overly happy with how his team's playing.
Yeah, you knew when that slipped out on Jay Woodcroft that he was, he keeps his cool pretty good. Like he never gets mad, and he's Mr. keeps the profile he wants to portray is the one he portrays. So when that slipped out, you knew that he was a little sour. And he should be, right? He should be. I mean, talk to John Brophy after his team's playing the way the Oilers is playing. There'd be more than one F-bomb dropped. I'll guarantee you that.
I expect true story. So my brother, when he played in the East Coast League, John Brophy was his coach in Hampton Roads. And he used to bring his big dog, like a St. Bernard dog, onto the ice sometimes for practice. And they were going through a stretch, and the game before, something had happened, and one of their guys didn't stand up for the other team, and they're in practice. And Brophy's talking to the guy, and the guy, they get into an arguing match. And you got to remember, John Brophy's probably like 65 at this time, and John Brophy one punches the guy. And my brother laughed. He goes like, Brophy still might have been one of the toughest guys in our team at that point, and we were all in our 20s. But Brophy was a lunatic. And so yeah, it wouldn't surprise. He said it was funny. Colin goes, he really liked me as a guy, so I had no issues with him. But if he didn't like you, it wasn't good to be a player for John Brophy in the 90s in minor pro for sure. Now Jay Woodcroft's obviously not going to do that, but I do wonder, Spec, Winnipeg's coming to town. Nate Schmidt makes $5.9 million. He was a healthy scratch their last game. Right, we've seen Damon Severson, big free agent signing, bench for the third period. Timo Meier, big free agent signing, bench for the third period in New Jersey. Jay Woodcroft, when you've only got one extra forward or one extra defenseman, and right now it's Desharnais, Broberg, or Ernie, that's it. Like, no offense, sitting one of those guys, not getting any attention. Like, there are some players who play significant minutes on the Oilers who simply aren't playing well enough. At what point do you think Jay Woodcroft's like, okay, you know what? Whether it's one shift, two shifts, minimizing the minutes. Like at some point, you got to do something to try to shock your team, don't you?
Well, that's the process here. Like one thing about the cap system, and when you only have 21 guys, it eliminates a lot of the coaching tools, right? He's only got 12 forwards. So you're right. Like it's not like you could take two people in and put two in the press box or whatever. Like his hands are tied to a certain extent, so he's got to do other things. He's got to limit in-game minutes for sure, right? The problem is he's got so many guys playing bad, it's hard to field a team. If you sit down everyone who's not playing any good, you're going to have about 4 players from last night in Philly. So, here's what we know. Most of his players are good players, right? He's got good players. So the coach's job, and it's not his sole responsibility. They have to get their act together. But if I'm Jay Woodcroft, my concern isn't punishing them for playing bad. It's figuring out how to get them to play good. That's what he's got to do here. It's not about we're sitting you because you're bad. Like I say, he'd have to sit 7 guys, including McDavid last night. He wasn't very good. So he's got to figure out how to get these guys playing good and not worry about punishing them.
Yeah, or maybe go the other way, reward the guys who are playing good. Like, honestly, the third line was their best line again last night, 5-on-5. Give them a few more minutes. I know they're not scoring, but at least they're not getting, crushed shots for and against. At least they're getting some positive momentum for your team.
So the best forward on this team through 4 games is Warren Foegele, and that's good for Warren Foegele because that's you want him to be a good player, but that doesn't speak well for your team. I'm not trying to insult Warren Foegele, but we shouldn't be saying that after 4 games. And we are. I've watched all 4 games. The guy that's had the best 4 games all told is Warren Foegele. He's a third-line winger. So they got to get guys going. They got to get Kane going. Kane, the season hasn't even started yet for him, it seems like. Brown, I guess we just got to let the clock tick until he can find his way back from this injury. I mean, it's going to take some time, apparently. I like the McLeod and Holloway line together, but they skate fast and they hit hard, but the puck hasn't gone in yet. But you know what? You got to have some patience. And generally speaking, you can afford patience if you're picking up points along the way. But if you're playing the way they're playing right now, it's hard to be patient.
If you're Coach Woodcroft, who are you starting in net next game, Spec?
That's got to be Skinner. I'm waiting for somebody to grab the horns here. I thought they'd start Skinner in Philly. They started Campbell because he's trying to get a guy rolling. And Campbell was okay in Philly. That's all he was. He was okay. Team was terrible in front of him, but he was only okay. So yeah, I've started Skinner for sure and try to get him on a roll. Someone's got to get on a roll here, man.
Spec, did you see the new line combinations? Hyman, Draisaitl, McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, Fogle, Janmark, Kane, McLeod, and Brown, and then Holloway centering Ernie and Ryan. What do you think?
Well, sure. You know, I mean, you got to mix things up here, man. It's again, if you can't put a whole bunch of new guys into the roster and onto the ice, then mix up your lines. So listen, he's coaching this. What do they say? He's playing the piano as fast as he can, Jason. That's what he's doing here, right? Yeah. Those lines will last a period. If they're no good, he'll change them again mid-game. So this is what a coach does. He mixes his lines up. I think it'll be cool to see Holloway play center ice. You know, some people want to see him in the top 6 right away. If he's going to play center, he should be in the bottom 6 for sure in my eyes.
Well,
but, I'm not putting it as my second line center right now. But sure, he's played well. Holloway's played pretty well, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm a little surprised he's kind of getting the demotion. I know it's to center, but I'm curious about his minutes, Spec. If he ends up playing the same amount of minutes, no problem. But Dylan Holloway is one of the guys, like if Fogle is their most consistent for it, Holloway was close, and then Zach Hyman. Like Holloway, for what we expect from him, from what you're asking him to play, his minutes, you know what, he's been very noticeable, energetic. He's at least out shooting the opposition. They're fairly positive shifts sometimes. It was kind of comical though. The one time he gets his helmet knocked off, then he's looking to go to the bench, and that kind of summarized the Oilers season, and it became a meme online, right? Like he gets his helmet knocked off inadvertently. Now you got to go. He's going to the bench. Then he gets hit by a shot. Boom! Right on the skate laces, goes down. You're just like, are you kidding me? And that's kind of how it's been through 4 games for the Oilers. But like
he kind of hung around and blocked that shot. From the press box, I was questioning whether that should be a penalty, because when you lose your helmet, you're supposed to leave the ice and not take part in the play anymore. And he tried. I mean, he made sure he blocked that shot, so he was taking part in the play. You could have had a minor penalty there.
Yeah, possibly. But I just look like, if Janmark's going up to the top 6, I'm sorry. The only way, Spec, is if the coach has a strategy tomorrow that Janmark, Fogle, and Nugent Hopkins are getting a lot of D-zone starts, because Janmark, he's responsible defensively, doesn't make a lot of bad decisions with the puck, because he's not giving you anything offensively right now.
No, he's not he's a 4th-line NHL player. That's what Janmark is. I like the player. No one brought him in here. No one looks at him. No one says he should be on the second line. So again, maybe what they're trying to do is just keep some pucks out of their net. I'm not sure what happened with Nugent Hopkins. That he was absolutely fantastic in Nashville and every bit that bad last night in Philly. So that's another veteran and another leader on this team that needs to find some consistency in his game. So, you know what? I wasn't at practice. I'm not sure what Jay's plan is here. That's a strong defensive line, right? That line shouldn't get scored on. Is he going to spread some ice time out with all 4 lines then? Is that maybe what he's doing? Is that 4th line going to get more than they usually get? I mean, let's see. In this team, you know how it works. It all revolves around 97 and 29. If they're going good, they get more ice time. If they're not going good, someone else gets some. But most nights they are going good, and whoever starts in the 4th line doesn't end up playing much around here.
Yeah, and that's why my concern is about Dylan Holloway.
Yep.
Yeah, so, to me, if he's centering there, but he's getting extra minutes, no problem. You mentioned McDavid. Like, McDavid didn't have a shot on goal 5-on-5, Spec. That's 2 out of 4 games this year. Like, the Oilers only have 6 goals 5-on-5. We can talk about their defensive game hasn't been great, but for a team that's best asset is offense, we're seeing they had the 6-goal breakout once against Nashville, who right now is like their little 8-year-old brother, and they're adults and they're spanking them for fun. They haven't been great offensively in their other games. They only have 5 goals combined in 3 other games. So, what are you not seeing offensively from a lot of their top guys? Kane, McDavid by his standards, right? Brown obviously not going. Like, there's some guys who really, like Zach Hyman's the only guy really who's producing lots 5-on-5.
Yeah, because he's winning his battles. He's winning the puck. He's keeping the plays alive. It's not one and done with Zach Hyman. I think what's missing is all the things that happen before a chance occurs, right? The puck, Philly had the puck far too much last night. You know, when you're playing a team like Philly, you're supposed to have the puck because you're a way better team than they are. And they outworked Edmonton, and they had the puck. Whenever there was a 50-50 puck in the neutral zone or their defensive zone, Philly took it and went north with it. So, yeah, McDavid's not getting any shots on goal when the puck's on the other team's stick. You know, it's that simple. Like, this is, if I was an NHL coach, Jason, I would be saying to you, don't focus on what happens at the end when the puck's going in the net. Focus on all the things that get you to the point before you take the shot, right? That's what the Oilers are failing at. When they get their chances, when they earn their chances, they'll get their goals. But right now, they're not getting chances because they're not earning chances. They're not winning battles. They don't have the puck. They're not working hard enough. They're not playing physical enough. They're getting pushed around. They're giving pucks away. They're not breaking out cleanly. They're not executing worth a darn. Those are all the things that are the reason why there's no chances at the end of the line.
I've got two highlights for the start of this season. One's McDavid spinning on his knees and popping up to score, and the other one is you getting Coach Woodcroft to drop an F-bomb. I'm just wondering if you have any other good stories you remember about Oilers coaches who are like beyond the pale for rage in a press conference and maybe what they've done.
Oh, boy. Hey, how come I'm getting credit for getting Woodcroft to swear?
Didn't you do it? It was
fault,
good.
was it?
Gregor explained it that you did
I thought it was your question, wasn't it?
I don't know. Was it? It could have been. I'm not taking blame for that.
It's not blame. I'm giving you credit.
Yeah, okay.
I remember
that's
way
fine.
back in the day, Ron Lowe, Coach Lowe, used to absolutely barely hold his rage together in post-game press conferences. And I remember he famously threw his gum across the bench. That was a good one.
Yeah, Lowetide was fun. Coaches back then were fun because maybe there wasn't as many cameras. There certainly wasn't any social media. You know, like I went worked the dressing room last night. The last guy we talked to is Woodcroft, and then we walk around in the bottom of the rink and sit down on my computer, and I sit down to start writing. I was already watching the Jay Woodcroft clip on Twitter, right? Yeah. Within 5 minutes of him saying it, I haven't even started writing yet, and it's out there. So coaches now are careful. They don't like those clips of themselves flying around the internet swearing. There's speaking of John Brophy, I don't know if you could find this on the internet, but you know how there's some famous sports rants out there. Well, he's got one. If you search out John Brophy rant, I mean, it's the best hockey rant in the history of hockey rants. I've never heard anything like it. There's more F-bombs in there than there'll be people in the seats on Saturday night against Winnipeg. Right? I mean, it is unbelievable.
There was no rant spec. But for the year that Pat Quinn was the head coach, he was so funny. Like he had some absolute like just simple, subtle ones, right? You know, like somebody had asked him when they had that ESPN, the nude athlete edition, and there was Surrey and Cogliano and Morrow, and Quinn, all he said was, "There's a lot of beefcake in there." But man, he had lots of funny answers in those press like when his team was bad, he had no issue ripping on him. And Strutty's told some hilarious stories, like on the bench. Like, remember the day Pat Quinn showed up to the rink thinking it was a game day, but it was a practice day, and he had a suit on?
Yes, I do remember that. I know he loved all those old terms. Some of them you can't even say on this radio show, some of the things he said. Right? Like he said some things out of the 60s that we used to say back then that you don't say now. He did call his team after they had a very lively morning skate and a very poor performance. I believe he called them a bunch of morning glories. Yeah. which no one uses that term anymore, man, but he did.
No, he was Pat Quinn. He was a character, man. He was
so funny.
Spec. We'll see who. Hey, there's 2 1-3 teams here going at it tomorrow. 2 desperate teams, 2 teams that are leaking goals. The Jets have allowed 19 goals, and like the Oilers think they're bad defensively. They're like, hey, the Jets have given up 3 more than them, for goodness sake. So we will see who can shore up their defense, or might be last goal wins tomorrow night. Well, we'll see what happens. The Oilers probably don't care what type of game it is, as long as it's one that they win. I think both teams are like, I'd love to win 1, but they just want to win.
They want to win. And I mean, ideally they want to win, you know, they'd like a nice 3-1 hockey game here. They'd like to outwork somebody. They'd like to play the brand of hockey that we kind of remember down the stretch last year when they weren't allowing any goals. Like, remember, guys, their stated goal, the biggest goal they had coming this year, had nothing to do with offense. It was about getting their goals against from the, I think they were 17th last year into the top 10. And right now they're like 28th in a league. So they've got to get their defensive game together. That comes with work and commitment and execution and playing smart and getting your head on a swivel, Evan Bouchard. All of those things have to happen before pucks are going to stay out of the net. Forget the goalies. We'll get to the goalies later. The guys in front of them got to play better first.
What do you make of the attendance in Winnipeg of late, Spec?
Yeah, it's a little worrisome. Guys, I've often thought this. So let's say, Wanye, you and your wife have season tickets for the Oilers. And let's say,
Spec.
Whatever. It's going to be $400 a night you're spending, right? Between the tickets and getting there and eating and drinking. Well, for 3 hockey games, you go down to Costco, buy yourself a 58-inch big screen. And for 3 more games, you can buy the couch. And for 3 more games, you can have enough beer for the whole season. So the in-house experience of watching sports has gone north. And the cost of going to the games, of course, everybody knows how expensive it is. I'll tell you what, man, on a cold winter night, you want to go pay all that money and drink $11 or $12 beers, or you want to sit at home in front of your own beautiful TV with your dog at your lap and a cold beer coming out of the fridge? It's hard for NHL teams right now, especially up here in Canada.
100%. Spec, have a good weekend. Okay. We'll see you at the rink.
All right, boys.
That's Mark Spector in the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. When we return, a guy who knows all of the Paquin sayings, memorized every one of them. He will join us next on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Thinking about solar power? Action Electrical wants to eliminate your entire home or business power bill and keep more cash in your pocket. With effective paybacks in 5 to 9 years, give solar a chance with Action and put your lazy roof to work. Alberta is the second highest province for the amount of full sunlight hours, and with system life exceeding 25 years, solar power is like a McDavid draft pick. Still have questions about solar power? Contact the professionals at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
5-time Alberta Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints are celebrating their 20th season in Spruce Grove. Be part of the action and enjoy some of the best Junior A hockey Canada has to offer by experiencing a Saints game for your next outing. Tickets range from $9 to $15 with free parking and some of the best food and drink specials in town. For more information on tickets and how you can become a partner, go to sprucegrovesaints.ca.
Mr. Rooter meets a zombie.
Ooh, what a spooky old place. Hello? Did someone call a plumber? Rain! It's hideous! Stay back, monster!
I was saying drains. Yeah, I have clogged drains.
Oh, of course. I can fix those. And may I say how nice your tattered clothes look?
Never undead, always unclogged. Trust Mr. Rooter.
What you eating there?
Oh, just a Leon's $10,000 shopping spree in a Chevy Colorado.
How do you plan to get all that from a Big Mac?
Monopoly Double Play.
Monopoly Double Play?
First, I peel unpack, then I peel an app. 2 ways to play and win.
So basically, you're potentially holding the most lucrative Big Mac ever?
No, I'm potentially eating the most lucrative Big Mac ever.
Now you can double play at McDonald's for more ways to win millions of prizes. While supplies last, chances of winning change as prizes are claimed. Chances of winning McD's app prizes based on time of code entry. See rules at participating McDonald's in Canada or at McDpromotion.ca.
You know, I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair!
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With an all-new sportsbook, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Drive into fall with some sweet savings at Cross Mitsubishi. Right now, get the best rate in the country. 1.99% on select Mitsubishis. And to make things even better, get up to $1,800 in free accessories or no payments for 6 months, and Cross will take care of your first 3 payments. Plus, get a trade-in bonus for $2,000 and free winter tires on all new Mitsubishis. Find these great deals and so many more at Cross Mitsubishi, 34th Avenue and 96th Street, or cross with a K, Mitsubishi.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Christensen Communities. Have peace of mind knowing your loved one is in the best possible hands. Christensen Communities have safe retirement living options across the province and now welcoming new residents. Visit cdlhomes.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Pause Friday rolls through. Gregor, Wanye Gretz, Connor Halley with you. Remember, if you're going to the Oil Kings game on Sunday, please bring some warm winter socks for low-income and homeless seniors. Bring a 4-pack, and you will also get some tickets to an upcoming Oil Kings game. So it's a great deal. And hey, by the way, can you go? We have low seats to Sunday's game against the Seattle Thunderbirds. So if you want to go, Bill LaForge, the GM of the Thunderbirds, very good team, and go see that game. We'll give you the tickets. You promise that you'll bring some socks. That's the fair trade-off, I think. We're giving you 4 low seats, courtesy of Pat at the Brew House. So text in with your name and email if you can go on Sunday, a 4-pack of tickets for low seats, the Oil Kings and the Seattle Thunderbirds. You'll get the free tickets. You bring some socks, and you're going to get tickets to another game. So it's like a 2-for-1 for you. It's a pretty good deal.
You know who else would need a lot of socks, Gregor? Human centipede. Think of all the feet.
I'm not even visualizing any centipede right now. Although
like
you know what I think
centipede.
about though when I think centipede, I think of James and the Giant Peach because I read that book to my son recently. It's a fantastic book. Anybody who's ever read James and the Giant Peach, it's amazing. And there's the centipede and the peach. And it's a very positive story. But they talk about how he has to take his boots off every night, and it's very long. And the glowworm gets pretty upset with him. But then James helps him and takes off his shoes. On the centipede, that's a lot of shoes. It's geez, I sounded like Lowetide there for a second, just rambling right into something else. It's unbelievable. It's rubbing off of me. It's fantastic. I like that. It's a great book, though. Great book. By the way, speaking of a good book, I'm reading The Warriors, the Clan Cats. It's all a book about these 4 clans of cats of my son, and it's one of those things. You have a young son. That routine of reading to your kids, it's one of my favorite parts of the day. And now my son's old, like we can read books that I actually enjoy. Right? Not that I didn't enjoy a lot of young ones, but I kind of got sick of reading the same book over and over. But it's great. I like it. You do it as a parent. But now it's like kind of fun. I'm almost like, hey, you want to go to bed early? We can read the book a little bit longer. He's like, no. So, but he's on to me because now I'm like, hey, well, we can read a little longer. So make deals. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's unbelievable. I'm loving the Warriors. We got the new 3rd book actually, so I'll start that tonight. I like it.
You know what else was a trilogy?
Don't even talk. Don't mention that again. The visual's gross. We welcome in host of the Lowdown, noon until 2. Al, you must have read James and the Giant Peach.
Oh yes, I read all of the classics. Where's the Frog? All of them. They're all wonderful. The great thing about any books that you read to your child is you will both remember them forever. Same with movies. My daughter and I saw The Princess Bride maybe, 25 times when she was a kid. And I would always say, hey, let's watch, Princess Bride. And then now she says it. So it goes full circle. And those memories that you have are like they're gold. They just are. I remember reading the Mr. McGregor, Beatrix Potter, I think, those as well. And it's just a wonderful memory. Jason, you'll remember it forever.
Oh, that's great. Al, if you were writing a short story on the Oilers' first 4 games of the season, what would be your premise?
I'd say that something like maybe a title like Work hard, work smart, and I think they're just not working smart. They're doing. The owners always remind me of that kid who says, "No, I don't have to study for the exam. I'll just, it's not until the end of the year. I'll just play around, and then I'll have the answers by the end of the year." And the owners don't do it. They Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid in last night's game now McDavis was a little bit of a fluke, but they made errant passes. And, you know, the teams that are going to really shoot for the Stanley Cup, if you watch Vegas, they're careful. They'd much rather eat the puck than pass it to a danger area. And the Oilers are so skilled and they can do so many things that you think, oh, well, you know, they'll get it done. But when they don't get it done and they're on a bad streak, and I think there's some bad luck involved, it looks bad on them. They're not a disciplined team like they should be, and someday they will learn that. But to this day, even the really high end guys are a little more risky than you'd like.
Yeah, so I look at them, and that filters down. There's been some bad plays. You know, Jay Woodcroft put the line blender on high today and came up with 4 new combinations. Dylan Holloway is going to see at center, which I'm kind of intrigued by, but I'm also like, yeah, but he's on the 4th line. I guess that's probably the best place to start him at center if you're going to play him center. But the Janmark, Nugent, Hopkins, Fogle, Al, the only rational thing I can think of for that line is Jay Woodcroft says, this is my D-zone start line.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, and I think that I think that he's trying to shake up the team. I think that would be the reason I would give for that kind of an alignment. The problem that he has is that Evander Kane is not playing well.
No.
And you can't hide him if you're not going to play him on the 4th line, and you can't play him on the 4th line because he's a feature player, and when he does break out, he's going to fill the net. That's what he's always done. I like McLeod and Fogle and either Brown or Fogle, but they're looking for some kind of a magic switch here. What I don't like, Jason, is, you're putting Holloway on the 4th line, and I know that the coaching staff, with the best of intentions, they'll say, okay, this is great. We're going to roll 4 lines. But it won't happen.
Yes, no.
They'll be down 2-1 in the second period, and then all of a sudden the 4th line gets sat, and then Holloway will play 6 minutes and 38 seconds. It's just wrong-headed. You got to play these kids.
Yeah, well, that's my whole thing. If Holloway is there and then he somehow is reduced in ice time despite being one of their more consistent forwards in the first 4 games, I'm sorry. It's a terrible message to send. Like, you know what? We've seen coaches around the league do it. Nate Schmidt comes to town with a $5.9 million cap hit. He got a healthy scratch the whole game. We've seen Timo Meier bench. We've seen Severson. Now, I'm not saying the player can't come back. I'm not saying you have to sit the guy in the press box, but I'll say this. If in the first period, like last game, the 3rd line was going, you don't have to bench anybody. Just play the 3rd line more.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I do think that I'm worried a little bit about Bouchard, Jason, because, I've seen this happen with Pody and with Justin Schultz, and I can't remember who else, but a little bit of chaos defensemen, and they tend to they run on confidence. And I think Bouchard's confidence is at a low ebb. He's going to play a home game. If he makes a mistake early, he'll get booed. Oiler fans don't like finesse defensemen who make mistakes. And look, I think Bouchard's a great player, but he's making more money now. There's more expectation, and he hasn't played well. Ideally, they'd move him down to the 3rd pair and play him with, say, Kulak or even Broberg. He had success with Broberg a year ago. I don't think they'll do that. But your point about, ice time and maybe allotting it based on performance, I think is a very good one. And I think Jay Woodcroft should pay attention to that idea.
Tom Pody, Justin Schultz, and Evan Bouchard. You put those 3 together, LT? I'm freaking out over here. I'm freaking out.
But I think fans do. I think fans, when they see a finesse defenseman make mistakes, and Bouchard has, like the gaff that he made last night was, he's good with the puck, but confidence is a thing, and he's not a 300-game defenseman yet. He's played, but not a lot, and they're asking him to play big minutes, and Ekholm so far hasn't been Ekholm yet. He'll be fine, but I think if they played him 3rd pair tomorrow night, it would probably do him a favor.
Who do you start net tomorrow night, LT?
I go with Skinner, but I don't fault them for going with Campbell in the game, because what you want eventually is to have Campbell push, like really push, like say, all right, this is my net, and maybe he gets 50 starts to 32 or something, or 45 to 37. But you want Campbell to be very confident, because if he is going into the playoffs, I think the Oilers will have feel pretty good about his chances. He did not play badly in last year's playoffs. People forget that, but he didn't.
No, he didn't at all. And just like Evan, the thing that's a little concerning to me is like Evan Bouchard, I thought Al played quite well in the postseason. I thought he was much more engaged physically. He was battling a lot harder. And I know that he's a very relaxed player. That can be one of his biggest strengths at times. He's very poised with the puck normally, and he doesn't panic. But he also can be a little lackadaisical entering into a battle or a one-on-one engagement. And I don't know what it is, but yeah, you need a little bit of spark with him. I like your idea. So the way Broberg's played out, like I wouldn't rule out just, hey, put Broberg with Ekholm for a game and Bouchard with Kulak.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great point. And this, now would be the time to do it because Broberg has played well enough. I mean, he got a healthy scratch, and I know that the Flyers are a more physical team, so you want Desharnais. But I like the idea of playing Broberg. What I think maybe they could do, and I don't think they will, but what they might want to do is dress 7 defensemen tomorrow night, and because Desharnais, I thought was pretty good on the penalty kill, and he offers some toughness. But I would play Broberg on the second pair, and then CC with Nurse, and try to get the minutes as even as you can. I know they won't. I know Nurse, CC, and Ekholm Bouchard or Ekholm Broberg would play a lot. But if you could have offensive zone starts for Bouchard, for instance, and if you could do that, then I think that you're helping out all the young players. They got Desharnais hasn't played a lot in the NHL. Broberg hasn't played a lot in the NHL, and Bouchard's not exactly a totally experienced guy. So that's if you play 2 of those guys every night, 2 out of 6 is 33% of your starting lineup has some experience issues. But you need to get them the experience now because if come playoff time, if this is the 7, you want them to be a little more battle hardened. So I like your idea about playing Broberg on the second pair with Ekholm tomorrow night.
Al, enjoy the weekend. What's your expectations for the Elks? Do you think a significant change? Like, to me, the biggest question the organization has to do, and I know there's some talk about, will there be some out clause here for the Elks and, maybe make a change and so they don't have this cap for management or not. But I don't think Chris Jones can come back in all 3 roles. Not if you want to have success. So I don't know if he'll relinquish one or not. Or maybe walks away, but to me, that's the big decision for the green and gold. What do you think happens?
Yeah, I agree, and I think Jones is like. Here's what I think. I think Jones is a really motivated coach, and he's a coach. Like you listen to him talking, he's just a pure coach, and I think he probably felt he could take on all the roles. But I'd be surprised if he felt the same way about everything now that he did, back at the beginning of the process, because I don't think you can do all 3 jobs. I think you can do some parts of them, but you can't do all of them, and it hurts the team, Jason.
Yep. And
they need to have, what they need? They need a real leader at the top, just like any other organization. Doesn't matter what you do. They need a guy who just says, to hell with this noise. If we have to, get a new coach or GM or whatever, we're going to do it. But we're not going the way we've gone. And I'll give Jones credit. Trey Ford was a little bit of an unusual draft pick where they took him, but he looks like the real deal, and good on them. And I love that he drafts athletes. He's got a lot of good things about him, but he can't do all 3 jobs because guess what? Nobody can.
No, wholeheartedly agree. Al, have yourself a spectacular weekend. We'll chat with you.
You too, guys.
On Monday.
The weather. I think this is the last one.
Yeah, hey, I hope you're wrong, but you're probably right. When we come back, Wanye's World next on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey world, get ready to believe. At Oodle Noodle, we serve up world-class, worldwide flavors in our sweet, saucy, and fiery noodles. We believe in the power of nudes. We've got everything from saucy mac and cheese to sizzling pad thai to so many other unbelievable dishes sure to make you a noodle convert for life. You've got to taste them to believe it. Don't be a skeptic. The proof is in the noodles. Check us out at oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle. We believe in noodles.
Oil changes on your schedule and bonus Air Miles reward miles? Only at Jiffy Lube. Right now, get an extra 50 Air Miles reward miles with your Pennzoil Platinum oil change. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Ain't it beautiful? The inventory is unprecedented. Volvo Cars Edmonton is proud to boast an amazing selection of in-stock Volvo XC40s, 60s, and 90s. Visit Volvo Cars Edmonton today and experience the exemplary service you've come to expect and the affordable luxury only found with Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more. How exciting is it to have Sports Talk Radio back in Edmonton?
Tie game, bottom of the ninth with a full count. The kick, the pitch. It's high, it's far, it is gone! Walk-off home run!
Yeah, it's pretty much like that. Edmonton Kubota is excited to welcome back Sports Talk Radio Sports 1440. We'll be dialed in for every minute. Get it done, and then some at Edmonton Kubota. All compact VX tractors on sale with 0% financing for 84 months. Stop by on 128th Ave or visit EdmontonKubota.com.
Corporate Business Solutions will keep your multifunction office equipment happy, but don't take our word for it. Toner cartridges from far and wide have been raving.
Well, I like it when they give me a shake, shake, shake.
500 out of every 500 sheets of paper say they love their experience in a new Konica Minolta office solution.
Get tickled as I flow through the machine.
With regular preventative maintenance, Corporate Business Solutions will keep your office equipment up and running by fixing your device before it breaks down. Call 780-490-5600 or visit cbsca.com.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit bieeng.com.
When you live in rural Alberta, you know every job is easier with the right team behind you. And when it comes to your financial goals, you deserve a team committed to getting the job done. That's where we come in. VCU Financial, a division of Vision Credit Union, offers start-to-finish financial services delivered with life in rural Alberta in mind. Talk with our team of expert financial advisors about solutions for your financial goals. We'll get you there. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
When you're a snowbird and take to warmer climates this winter, you want to make sure you have full coverage. That means home insurance when you're at home and travel insurance for when you try wave jumping on your jet skis. The James Insurance Group gives you peace of mind in your policy, so you're always covered. Working for Albertans across the province, the James Insurance Group will find you the best value and coverage you need. Find us at tjig.ca. That's tjig.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio, professional athletes use aquatic therapy, radials, shockwaves, zero-gravity treadmills, and pneumatic recovery devices for rehab. Leading Edge Physiotherapy offers those to you because sports shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through. Pause of Friday. Gregor, Wanye Gretz, Connor Halley with you. Email us in our Jiffy Lube inbox, 833-401-1440. Connor did pick a winner, and congratulations to Brent M. He's going to the Oil Kings game. Thanks for everybody who entered. We always have your name on a list. We'll see, and eventually we'd like to give it to everybody, hopefully. We'll see. Good luck, Brent. Bring some socks. Let's get now to Wanye's World, brought to you by Action Electrical. They have solar and other green energy products have a business income tax incentive. Capital costs associated with solar projects completed before 2028 can be fully deducted in the year they're incurred. So think about that. actionelectrical.net. Here's Wanye's World.
Positive Friday, Gregor, and I'm looking at the internet and I'm watching Oilers fans, and positivity is in short supply. We are 121st over done this season. That's it, people. We're 4 games in, and we are at level 80 freakout already. We got like PTSD from the decade of darkness echoing in our brains, and we just anytime like this, we don't have to get off to a good start to make the playoffs, people. What we don't want to do is freak out. What we don't want to do is panic and turn on each other and run Evan Bouchard out of town like he's a young Tom Pody, as Lowetide earlier suggested. So I'm just trying to preach calm here, Gregor, today on a Positive Friday.
Calm. Well, I think that's fair. I also think it's fair to say, because I believe the Oilers' slow start won't cost them the playoffs, but their end goal was the Stanley Cup.
Yes.
And if the if it ends this way and the Oilers all of a sudden, end up being 6-4 in their first 10, and you're like, okay, it's manageable, fine. So that means they'd go like 6 which is hard to do, 6-1 in their next they'd be 5-1 in their next 6 games. Then you're like, okay, it's all right. But the longer this goes, like if all of a sudden Saturday's a loss, right now you're 1-4, and potentially now, because Vegas is going into Chicago, and hey, God love the Blackhawks, but the way Vegas is rolling, that's almost seems like a gimme win. And then they're going to be at 12 points. Suddenly you're 10 points back, and you're like, what? Because home ice advantage matters later in the playoffs. So the slow start to me is not a panic to win to get to the playoffs. It just means your road to the cup suddenly becomes way harder, and you've cost yourself that. Now you got to work way harder for a slow start. And that's the challenge.
I don't want to be sitting here talking about the road to the cup getting harder. It's only October 20th. We're 11 days from Halloween still.
Well, exactly. But that's what they're doing, though, right? That's what they're doing if this continues, is you're making it way harder on yourself and harder than it should have to be, because I think the Oilers are a talented team. But I think it's fair to say that so far they have not played up to their capability.
But now you're making me freak out, because now I think there's actually a huge problem here, Gregor. And I was preaching patience. Everybody calm down.
Wow.
Now you're telling me it's October 20th and the road to the cup already has giant obstacles.
Well, just potentially bigger ones. Yes, you don't want that. But that's just, hey, man, the cup is hard to win. And you can't, it's hard. You can't win the cup in October, but I think you can lose it. And part of that is, getting off to a terrible start. You can't recover and make the playoffs. That's obviously one. But the other one is you miss the chance to finish first in your division. And now you have to be on the road for the second round, the third round, potentially the fourth round. And yeah, the LA Kings have done it. It's just way harder. So Oilers, tighten up the skates, knock the helmets around, get the fuzziness out of there, wake up. They got to play better.
Got to beat the Jets, Oil. Come on now.
You kidding me? Both teams 1-3, man. That should be a desperate game.
Must win.
Should be very entertaining. Must win. You heard it from Wanye Gretz. The first must win of the year. Only in game 5. Got to love it. Have yourselves a great weekend. Please don't be inebriated. Don't drink and drive. Don't weed and drive. Get home safe. Take an Uber. Walk. Whatever you need to do. It's nice out, but do not be inebriated. We want you to be able to listen to us on Monday. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter at legacyheating.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Oilers off tonight. They'll be back in action tomorrow. They take on the Winnipeg Jets. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock. 2 games on the ice tonight. After 20 minutes in Columbus, Jackets and Flames scoreless. And midway through the first in New York, the Islanders and Devils also scoreless. Week 20 in the CFL kicks off tonight with BC taking on Calgary. You've also got the Elks in Winnipeg tomorrow. That's a 5 o'clock start. And the Argos up against the Riders. That one gets going at 2. Major League Baseball playoffs ALCS Game 5 currently. Rangers lead the Astros 4-2. That is in the bottom of the 8th. The Rangers have runners on first and second with no outs. And later tonight, the Phillies taking on the Diamondbacks in Game 4 of their series. Philly up 2-1. That one gets going just after 6 o'clock. The face of women's soccer in Canada for the last 2 decades is hanging them up at the end of the 2023 season. As Christine Sinclair announcing her retirement at the international level in 322 appearances, she's 190 goals for Canada. She'll play 1 more year at the club level with the Portland Thorns and 7 games in the AJ, including Spruce Grove hosting the Okotoks Oilers. Puck drop at 7 out at the Grant Pier Arena. As for the Golden Bears and Pandas, the football team out in Winnipeg taking on the Bisons at 6 on the ice. The Bears have a home and home with the Dinos tonight at the Drake at 7. The Pandas do the same In reverse, they'll host the Dinos at the Drake tomorrow at 7 at the Saville Center. Bears volleyball taking on Thompson River at 6. Pandas meet TRU as well. That gets going at 7:30. We are done for the day. We'll be back Monday morning with the Kevin Carrier Show. Until then, plenty of Fox Sports Radio. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 Update.